Well, jerks. What's up, jerks? It's been a little while. I haven't been around much. I'm super excited tonight. I'm excited to be back to have a show tonight. I'm excited with the guests that we have on. I'm excited about what just happened in the last 24 hours for me and you and just all the support you guys have been throwing me. I can't thank you enough. I just announced that we're doing a fundraiser, a legal defense fund for the Young Jerks for myself because I am being sued for defamation in Suffolk County. People want to know details. You can look up the court filing. I'd rather you do it that way. You can look up the court complaint. I could obviously give you my defense online, but that's not where we're going to do that. We're going to do that in court. I'm going to vigorously fight all the defamation charges. I have the best criminal defense attorney, civil defense attorney on this. He is a former journalist. He's on like every board of major journalism. When Boston Magazine needed to help their reporter in court recently with Judge Connolly, they hired this guy, Rob, that I have. So he is the best attorney. I'm wicked excited about my attorney that I have hired. And it is very costly. And that's why I put out the plea last night on GoFundMe and on Twitter and social media. And everybody has responded. I'm like in just kind of shock. We have already $4,920 raised. So I just thank you because the last couple weeks, months, it's been kind of stressful not saying anything, worrying about how you're going to deal with this. And some of the reason I had to take time off is just because I had to deal with this crap. I had to find a great attorney. I had to figure out what our response to this was going to be. And to get this fundraiser out last night and to have an attorney hired now, I feel so much better. And it's time to do shows again. And so I want to thank everyone who contributed last night. So many of you contributed. We're almost up to $5,000. It hasn't even been 24 hours. I want to thank our guest tonight. She was like the first big contribution that came in. Nan Gallagher. We're going to bring her up in a second. Lothario. I also want to thank Microdot, so many others. A lot of people were anonymous that I knew. I see their emails. I want to thank you so much for donating. You don't even know. I really appreciate it. I've spent $10,000 already on this. I have unlimited legal liability on how much it's going to cost. And you guys kicking in means a lot to me. So I just want to thank you so much tonight. Anyone who sends a donation to that legal defense fund, and if you've already sent one, you can still do this. You can send a screen capture if you want one of our stickers, the Young Jerks or the Young Jelly. Maybe you already have them and you want more. You can definitely get more. All you need to do is take a screen capture, your donation to our legal defense fund, and send it via email. It's scrolling at the bottom there, mjcboston1@yahoo.com. All right, let's bring up the guests. Again, I want to thank everyone so much who's been supporting and sharing and sending emails and messages and love and support to me. I really appreciate it. I know some of you can't donate, but that's all right. Just as much your support. You're watching, you're sending messages. It really means a lot to me. So thank you so much, everybody who's been supporting me on this, especially since last night we announced this GoFundMe. Let's bring up our great guest tonight. Really happy. This is a comeback show for me. I did a couple better shows, but there really haven't been too many shows we've been doing lately. So this is a great one to come back on. Let's bring her up. Attorney Nan Gallagher back on the show. She was in the courthouse last week. I'm wicked excited to see what she's going to share with us about court and her time. Again, coming back to Massachusetts again for this Karen retrial. Hey, Nan Gallagher, how you doing tonight?
I'm great, Mike. How are you?
I'm doing awesome. I'm feeling good right now. It's just
good.
The support really means a lot to me. It's just amazing to see it.
I'm hearing a pep in your step.
Yeah, it feels good to be able to kind of share what's going on and then ask for help and see the help come through. I don't usually like to ask for help. I had to learn that growing up. Like I was always independent. I still am. I still like to do things on my own. I still like to, that's why I don't have a big team. I have a crew that helps me in the chat, and it's because I really trust them. I really have to trust people to let them handle anything of mine or even give me support. And it's been easier to do with the people that are offering support because I just love them all. So I just like you, Nan. Thank you so much for supporting me.
Oh, it's my pleasure to do so. And there's more coming your way, Mike. I wanted to just take an opportunity to say something to you. And I say this to clients of mine when they get sued. Okay. It's really upsetting. And it happens, especially in the field of my clientele, which is physicians. So the odds are likely they're going to get sued. And, it's very upsetting. You kind of say, oh my God, what am I going to do? How am I going to pay for this? What's the best lawyer around? If it can't be Nan Gallagher, wink, wink. But I just want you to know everything's going to be okay. You have a great attorney. I've looked into him. You're in great hands. You have an army of people behind you. And I'm going to do everything in my power to help that defense fund grow for you because a defense of a frivolous, which I maintain this is, a frivolous claim like this, it's no easy task. It's not inexpensive. And, we're here for you. So never be too humble to ask for help and just know that whatever I can do to help you, I will. And that is a lifelong promise.
Oh, thank you so much. Hopefully, I don't need help after this, but I really appreciate that, and especially right now because it is stressful. Even though I know, you know, we both know what we know, reading the complaint and what we know about it, but it's still you can't help but be stressed about it.
Of
Someone
course.
said, "What is the claim?" It's a defamation claim. I'm not going to say too much about it. I think it's best left to court at this point. Um, yeah. So
Yeah, it's best left to court. People can find the filing, but I want everyone to know I've read the filing and I've known about it for some time, and it's bullshit. So when I say it's bullshit, that usually makes people feel a lot better. Uh, and
yes.
and whatever I can do to help, and my admission to the Massachusetts bar. Sorry, I'm glitching. My admission to the Massachusetts bar is pending right now.
Oh wow.
If I was licensed up there. Uh, I would be taking this on myself because you are a freedom fighter.
I didn't know you were going to be licensed. Maybe in the future, who knows? Well, so
Yeah.
where was it filed? It's in Suffolk County Civil under Mike Crawford. You can Google it there on the Mass Courts if you want to see it. And you're not the only attorney. I noticed another attorney. I'm not going to say who it is, but she was on Twitter. She read the complaint. She said very similar to what you said, Nan, and that was public.
Yeah.
But I've shared it with a lot of attorneys, and like
Yeah.
every attorney has basically said the same thing. They're like, "What? What? What?"
It's
So I haven't heard from an attorney that said, "Oh, you're screwed." I haven't. No
yeah.
one said that so far. Everyone's been like, "Yeah, you should be fine."
Yeah,
So
you
we'll see what
should be.
happens.
And there are different procedural steps that can be taken along the way, not only to regain the balance of control in a civil lawsuit, but also to dismiss it outright. So I'm happy to help from the wings for now.
I really appreciate that. And for people who want to support, it's pinned in the YouTube chat at the very top. Again, there's also a scroll on the bottom if you want one of our stickers. Someone that was asking, it's the Young Jelly sticker, this one, or we'll send them both actually, so you get them both. All right, so let's. Oh, I want to thank someone who just donated. Thank you so much. Um, let's talk about you. You just came to Dedham, Boston, Massachusetts area.
Yeah.
Uh, what was your trip like? Tell us what was it like this time coming out?
Oh my goodness.
And I want to hear about the buffer zone. I want to hear about what you saw with all that with Randazza. I also want to hear about the jury trial. Jurors. What
Yeah.
do you want to start with? What do you think is a good place to start with?
I have lots to say. Everyone likes to know about my trips, and I love it because my family doesn't want to hear about my trip. They always just say, "Okay, she's back. Now prepare to make sure that we made our beds and we put our laundry in the hamper." But yeah, this was my third trip up to the Dedham area. As I think I've said on your streams before and other content creators streams, like I actually go to Boston at least twice a year for the last 20 years. I used to work for a national law firm out of Boston. So it's my favorite city and it has been for some time, but now it's my very, very favorite city. This was my favorite trip by far, and I appreciate you asking. Before we get into the kind of legal nitty gritty, man on the street information I can give you all, but I had a wonderful time. I was able in just, I guess, what was I there? About 4 or 5 days, Monday to Friday. And in that time, I was able to do so many different things, from doing Brian LTL's show Monday night. What did I do? Tuesday, I stood boots on the ground and had like a really, really funny moment with a woman named Jennifer on the street who like brought a gift, and she didn't realize I was standing right next to her, but she had brought a gift for Lawferio. And I was like, oh, oh, is that for me? She was talking to Tom CPU. And I was like, is that for me? And she said, oh my God, you're here. And we had this big laugh and embrace. And it was a beautiful Christmas ornament that she made for me, like a Scrabble board letters that said, keep showing up, and Lawferio. But standing boots on the ground, and I'll talk in a few minutes about the buffer zone, because I was able to be in the buffer zone back in April. So when I was there last month, and now we have the modified order of Judge Connolly. And then Tuesday was like just such a special night for me. I'm actually wearing my Northshore Nacho Night t-shirt. There were, God, hundreds of people who went to J.J. Grimsby's restaurant in Stoneham to meet me. I'm going to say to meet JFK. I think they went to go see JFK, but we had a great time there. Got to just meet a lot of people who are very affected by the Karen Read case and feel so wronged by government and police and the corruption, and just to kind of shake hands and hug people, even danced a bit. That was wonderful. And then what did I do? So then, I met a friend. I met a warrior who I won't name, but I met a warrior from Twitter on Tuesday also, which was a wonderful opportunity for me. Wednesday, I was in court all day, which we'll talk about. And then Wednesday night, I got to have dinner with John Camo. And as we were sitting there having dinner at the bar, there were two Free Karen Read supporters who were sitting next to us who like thought they knew who we were. And then we had a great time with them talking about all of the issues. And I mean, they knew their stuff. So we were answering a lot of questions, had a great time.
Did John Como take off his shirt or leave it on during dinner?
It was
curious.
left on during dinner.
For you, if I was there, I have a feeling it would have come off. We would have been talking about jerk curtains and taking off t-shirts.
Let me tell you something. John was, I don't know if he's watching this, but he was an absolute gentleman to me. I was 45 minutes late for that dinner, and I apologized. I was taking a nap because your state exhausts me. It just, I don't know what
traffic. The traffic alone. Yeah, I get it.
Traffic.
Yeah, I got to say about John is the best. I could, it's funny. If people notice, like I can rib certain people.
Yeah.
Like John, like he gives it back to me. Like even when we had an issue, he asked me on his show. He put me on the spot, which was funny. But I love John. Like John is I don't know, if I ever need any help in his area of the neck of the woods, I'll call him. And I know that if he needs something, he calls me. And yeah, he's a good guy. Like I do like John. He can be wild. He's fun. People outrageous a little bit, but he has a heart of gold. He's really a good guy, and he's someone that like you could count on as a friend.
Oh yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So
yeah, I
like John a lot.
It's been weird for me because I meet people who I watch on YouTube, and now like I get the opportunity. You're next, Mike. I'm coming for you. But I get to meet you guys all in person.
You were close. I was gonna say I was gonna give a little criticism. I don't want to criticize anyone who's doing a fundraiser like the Stoneham group. I love them. But Deanna well, that's the thing. I am a North Shore guy. And Deanna Corby, who I love, she's another one. I just love her. But yeah. I gave her a little shit because she said there was a North Shore event. It was like in Medford. And I'm like, that's north of Boston. That's not North Shore. Like, I'm a North Shore snob. So I'm like, Stoneham is like borderline. It's like, because I had relatives that lived there that would visit us on the North Shore, but it's like almost North Shore, but it's really close. So I can see why they call it the North Shore fundraiser. But I would say, if it was me being the geographic snob, I would say north of Boston. That's what.
North of yeah, I get it. I mean, it wasn't that far from where I was staying, but that was a wonderful event, and they normally have North Shore Nacho Night on Mondays, and
Right.
they did hold it this past Monday, but I was doing Brian's show, so they added an additional night just for me. And I think,
Oh,
yeah, and I think
and it
for
looks like a good.
JFK,
They do that like weekly, don't they? They do it
they
like every.
do.
Yeah, they've been killing it. Like I see it. I watch it on Facebook. I keep saying like I got to get down there. I got to get down to Stoneham, and because I just watch it like every week, and it gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and I just love the groups of people like that. There's one doing that there. There's one I noticed another one in Danvers. There's all over the place. There's all over the state where people just have these little events once a week, and they do the little gathering, and they raise money for Karen Reed. It's unbelievable. So I love them. I know
They
I'm
raised
ribbing them on the North
they
Shore,
raised
north of Boston thing,
thousands.
but I just got to say, make sure they know this. I love that they're doing this in Stoneham. The what is it? The pizza night? Yeah, tell us more about it.
Yeah, so the nacho night though on Tuesday,
Nacho night,
yeah,
yes.
nacho, which by the way, when I found out when I came up last month, they had asked me to attend, and at that time I had tentative plans to meet JFK and James Jackson. So I was like, I don't know if I can go. And as it turned out, I did hang out that night with JFK and James Jackson, and we had a great time at the North End. But I promised them, and I'm so happy I did. I promised all of the gals and guys who host and attend North Shore Nacho Night that I would come the next time I was up. And I planned that trip, and I just couldn't on Monday because I have a commitment to do Brian's show every Monday night with Todd McGee. So they threw this additional night for me, and the people were great. The food was excellent. They raised thousands of dollars on Monday and Tuesday for Karen Reed's defense fund. So many people just told me how they were feeling about everything. I got beautiful gifts. There's a woman named Lauren. If you're watching, I just opened your presents, and I'm going to be sending you a special note. Such heartfelt presents you sent to me, and to Kathy O'Grady. If you're watching, I have your blanket, and Cheech, I have your blanket right here, and you didn't intend on it, but it matches my office, the coloring, and I wrap it around me. You guys don't know that I'm cold all the time, and I usually wrap a blanket around me when I'm streaming. But it was a wonderful night. JFK came. I gave the troops a little pep talk. So we had a wonderful night. And then Wednesday with John Camo, I had taken a nap before I went to meet him. I set my alarm. Unfortunately, my alarm, I set it for AM and not PM. And I woke up, and I'll keep it PG, but I was like, oh my God. And I reached out to him and I said, I'm going to be 45 minutes late. He was such a gentleman. He bought me a drink, which was fantastic. And we had a wonderful dinner and great conversation. And then we met those incognito free Karen Reed supporters, because like I don't know about any of you, but when I go out up there, like my head is on a swivel. I'm like, who's following me? Am I going to get arrested? Who's talking smack about me? And these two women were kind of looking our way, and it turned out they spotted us, so we got busted. But we had a great talk with them. And then Thursday, I had some very, very important meetings with clients, and the weather was awful. I mean, is it May or what? The
It
weather,
just keeps raining. It's raining again today. It's
yeah.
unbelievable.
I'm probably gonna glitch. I need a better setup here. Maybe I should start a GoFundMe, because I've been streaming quite a bit. But Thursday was, a wash, other than the fact that it was really nice to just spend time in my hotel room. And then as far as Friday was concerned, woke up early and drove home. So that was my week in a nutshell. But I really wanted to talk about my court observations. I guess that would be a great place to start. And before I do that, Mike, figured I would mention when people stand boots on the ground, and even when they go to court, it's actually sometimes hard to stay up on everything. Even when you're sitting in that courtroom, you're not listening to the analysis, the content creators. You're not hearing, when you're sitting in the courtroom, who's walking in, or maybe someone got arrested outside for this or that. So I feel when I'm there and I'm boots on the ground or in the courtroom that I'm like not in my element. I miss all the creators, but that's how I learn and retain information. But as far as boots on, well, let me just talk about boots on the ground for Tuesday. Everybody, I can only tell you, if you're in the area, coming there, showing your support. You get to see Karen and her family, who usually come in separately, come into court. The buffer zone itself is a complete joke. I mean, are we in communist China or are we in the United States? What happened to the First Amendment? You got to stand across the street or outside of the confines of the buffer zone signs. If you are like across the street by the registry of deeds, you can't have any insignia that indicates that you're like a supporter of Karen, free Karen Reed, or any of the like. They're strictly enforcing it. But I will say it was great to be there, to just feel the energy, and it's building as Karen's case is progressing towards her defense of the claims. The energy is building. And I know there's some tension there between some of the boots on the ground, and I've told those involved that I am remaining neutral, and I hope that everybody chooses to respect that preference of mine. But I think that is the case. I think people are respecting that, and it was great to see everybody. So buffer zone sucks. But while I was standing in it, I got to meet Mark Randazza. And boy, he's got an energy that exudes from him. He was fired up coming out of Erica Walsh's hearing, which that day I was there. I believe that was Wednesday. That day, I think she was there for her arraignment, but it got punted to, I believe, Friday, which I wasn't around for. But he had come out of court fired up, and I had a nice opportunity to oh yeah, thank you, Mazza. She was wearing a hoodie. I mean, seriously. And Tom literally was lifted out of his like rotator cuff and hoisted across the street for standing on a sidewalk. Like, I don't think Mazza could say that strongly enough. Like, this is
Because I feel like I hope my mic's down a little bit. Some people are saying my mic was too loud. This new mic is louder. I just
I think
adjusted it. If I need to turn it down more, let me know, people in the chat. But the thing about this is, like she was just wearing this microdots sweatshirt with some lettering on the back of it. When they went for this buffer zone, the whole thing about it was they felt like the jury was hearing the protesters in the courtroom. So we have to do something to make sure the jurors aren't hearing all these protest chants.
yeah,
So then what if
okay.
she's not doing a protest chant, why are they going after her just for what she's wearing? I mean, that is, and even beyond that, like the stuff that they were doing earlier too, like to me and Mazza,
Yeah.
actually. Mazza and me, the first trial, Mazza and me walked up to the court with my camera out, looking to interview Turtle Boy and Karen Reed and everybody else is for my show, which people watch. And the Mass State, and we saw Turtle Boy. We said hi to Turtle Boy, and they let Turtle Boy stay because he had applied for government approval to stand on the sidewalk, basically.
Right.
And Mazza and I didn't have that government approval to say that we're actually journalists, so they threatened us. Mazza booted right out of there, and I like gave them a little bit of like, how you determine whether I'm a journalist? Like, who gives you that right? Like, I asked like one or two questions like that, And I could see them all of a sudden. They all surrounded me, and they were all coming for me. It was like, oh, they're gonna arrest me. So I was like out of there. I was
Yeah.
like, I ran behind Mazza, and I was like, but I mean, that's how they treat us. It's just like I wasn't wearing no Turtle Boy stuff, no Young Jerks even. I didn't have anything on. I'm wearing like this, with some shorts. There was no protest, nothing. And it's just so anti-American that these state
Yeah.
police will just say nobody can stand here except who we approve. It's a sidewalk. It's a sidewalk,
It's a power trip, Mike. Like I saw these officers or troopers. I don't even know what they were. I didn't make eye contact with any of them just because, I'm afraid. I'm not gonna lie. Like I'm happy to tell people where to shove it, but I don't want to lose my law licenses. And they seem to have a very sliding scale on what they think is violative of the order. And so these these officers are on a complete power trip, but most notably to me with regard to the buffer zone is the fact that these officers don't fully even understand or consistently enforce it. It's consistency that bothers me. So let's use Tom CPU for an example. Tom, the day before the incident where he was injured, he was told by Hardman and had a conversation with him where he was told, you can stand right there. You can do what you're doing right there. Now, I'd be lying if I knew where right there was. But that conversation took place. Not more than 24 hours later, he's following the rules, doing what he was told, and then he gets, I'm saying, thrown across the street. Like Tom CPU, I love the man, but he's not what I would call like a big brawny gentleman. So he got hoisted by Hardman and injured himself. And honestly, was I there? No. Is it on camera to the point where everyone sees Hardman's hands on him and exactly what the injury was? No, there doesn't have to be. I saw the pictures right after it happened, and I've read some documentation. That's all I'll say. So Tom was injured, and I don't care if he
Ask
was or
about
he.
this. Yeah, because it's funny. His name's Hardman, number one. He is
Yeah,
definitely a hard man. It's
the
always the same
irony.
guy. It seems like we keep seeing this guy acting up. He's the same one that got rough with Erica.
Yeah.
Um, let's just ask, like, what is the issue with Tom standing there on the sidewalk? He's not protesting. He's filming. Like, to me, like, what is the issue? It'd be one thing if he was yelling all kinds of chants and the jurors could hear it, or he's even holding up a sign and the jurors might be able to see it. Okay, well, arguably you have some type of, I don't agree with it, but you have some type of standing, I guess. But Tom's not even doing that, right? He's just filming. What is
He's
the
just
issue with
filming.
somebody filming in public? Like, that to me is so un-American. That's our right to film people. As long as you're not in someone's face, as long as you give them the 5 feet or whatever it is, 10 feet, I don't know what the measurement is. Some people say it's 5, 10, whatever it is, you should be fine. He's not in anybody's face. He's standing on a sidewalk. What is the problem? I don't get that. I don't get why filming is now illegal on a sidewalk.
I have so many thoughts on this, and we can just keep rolling on this topic because filming isn't a crime. Using Tom as the example, and there are others, but Tom is there with a shirt and tie on and a jacket. Okay, he's not wearing insignia. He's not inciting any type of anarchy or riotous behavior. He's a soft-spoken gentleman and probably just, I guess I would describe him as very cordial. Like he's, good morning, how are you? I mean, he said good morning to the Mr. Krowski Sr. last year and was told to fuck off. So, I mean, like, well, for whatever people think of Tom CPU, and I don't really want to get into the weeds on
Mm.
that, I would simply say he was doing the most American thing. And as far as Erica is concerned, I don't find that her sweatshirt in any way violated the order whatsoever. People, I don't want to ever incite people to violate orders, but it is because people challenge authority and just gently push against resistance, then that is how real change is effectuated. But let's use, and I just happened to see Scott McGinnis's name scroll through your chat. I don't have my glasses on, but his name popped out. Scott's there every day. Scott was there from the very beginning. Scott is Scott's a loyalist. He is a, how do I say this? He is an OG. And Scott is there rain or shine, any time of day that he can get there. Yes, is he wearing apparel from when I've seen him that could potentially violate the order? Sure. But Scott is a peaceful supporter. It's not even protesting, but to see that he's got his vehicle parked and has to pack with him, as I saw, there's another woman who was there, Cheryl with an S, like they've got covers for their signs. If they in any way walk through the buffer zone, they've got to cover their signage. Like Cheryl with an S had to put a big bag over her sign to support Karen. And I don't know what her sign said, but a big garbage bag just to walk across the street right by the registry of deeds to get from one end to the other. I find it so un-American, as you say, and really offensive. So someone like Marco Randazza, he's the right personality at the right time. And he's teamed up with other lawyers. I got a business card, I don't have it in front of me, from another lawyer to kind of fight these battles. And he's the right person for it. So I said, I'm a big fan of yours, and may I please take a picture? And he humored me, and we took one. But for everybody who stands, and I don't really even love the term boots on the ground, it's just give firsthand support. Just keep doing it. Don't try to stay out of their hair. This is a stupid order, and this is gonna parlay into my experience in the courtroom, Mike. This theme, which I'll pivot to now, which is the amount of exertional control that I observed on Tuesday outside, and then on Wednesday in the courtroom by what I'm going to call court officers or sheriff officers was ridiculous. I mean, I'll pivot right now because from when I was in the courtroom, and just by coincidence, Will the Glairer was there. I didn't even know he was not that I have to. I did not know that he was going to be in Boston, or the Boston area, the Dedham area, when I was. So he had gone Tuesday to court. I did not. I stood outside, and then he was in court with podcaster Annie Elise, and on Wednesday, and as was I. And so they knew from being there on Tuesday that there was, some strict enforcement by the court officers of different rules, like no talking, none if you're in the courtroom. I mean, at one point, like I asked Will, would you like a mint? And they were like, no talking. I mean, it was ridiculous. And then at one point in the courtroom, so I mean, I guess it's out there in the open. I like taking notes. I remember the first night I was on your show, I have my Karen Reed notebook and I write things down. That's how I process information. So I actually forgot my notebook when I went to court in the morning. And that was the morning that they threw us all out of court right away because there was a juror issue, which we can chat about. But once we left court pretty early on, one of the supporters on the ground, when I went outside, was nice enough to offer to run to the store for me and buy me a notebook. And when I returned to the courtroom, I was taking my notes. After the morning break, a completely Stalin-esque court officer pulls me aside before court resumed again. And he's like, Miss, can I speak to you? I was like, sure. Now, he doesn't know I'm an attorney. Okay. He thinks I'm just someone there with the Reed family, which, I guess for all intents and purposes, I was. So he pulls me aside and he says, "Can I speak with you?" I said, "Sure." And he goes, "You know, you're taking too many notes." And I was like, "What?" You're taking too many notes." And I was like, "Is there something against someone writing notes?" Like, I don't have my cell phone out there. God forbid you put your phone out in the courtroom, which is a very commonly enforced rule. And he's like, "Well, it's distracting." Well, who's it distracting, sir? He said, "Well, it's distracting to the family." And don't look over at the family, which I'm sure all of you have kind of heard this, that there's been some recent buzz from whatever it is, one side to the other or the other side to one side, about people in on the different teams looking at one another. But don't look over at the family, it's being noticed. Meanwhile, like, I really wasn't. I looked over one time, most notably, which was a moment that I'm going to mention to you. They were showing autopsy photos of Officer John O'Keefe. Now, the mother, Peggy, and some people who were sitting with her had left, which I completely understand. They had left the room for this, but there was a family member. No one I've ever seen. Just in case there's going to be some speculation in your chat, but there was a family member or a friend who was sitting over there, who was like crying like a baby, weeping. Now, I don't mean any disrespect to Officer John O'Keefe or the O'Keefe family, but I don't find that that's appropriate. You cannot be weeping at pictures like that um, in front of the jury. You just can't. So
Okay
what
though,
that?
but that's okay. But that's,
Yeah,
yeah. If you look in the wrong direction, they chastise you. But crying in the courtroom,
right. And exactly. So that's something that was appropriate. And I'm a very sensitive person. So I understand there's been a loss, but I found that inappropriate. That is something, the outright weeping, which I'm not even going to comment on what I thought specifically about it, because I'm a nice person and we're live. But the outright weeping is something that in my jurisdictions where I'm licensed, that person would have been asked to leave. And honestly, she should have left the room. She should have left the room, because if you can't compose yourself, you leave the room. It's kind of like, speak now or forever hold your peace. Like, if you can't hold your peace, like, get out of the way. So this court officer was ridiculous with me. He said, "I'm looking at the family too much. Don't do that. I'm taking too many notes." And finally, I said, "I'm an attorney," and he backed off. So it's the mood of law enforcement in there, in the courtroom. It's heavy. It's a heavy feel. Does not I did not go for 1.0, but I did go for hearings, pre-trial hearings before 2.0, and the mood has shifted since then. It is since the buffer zone order was first entered or modified. There is definitely a shift for the worse in terms of the presence of officers either outside or inside the courtroom. And I'll leave this concept with one last point, which is, um, I find it, and I've said this, so your chat may be familiar with this, but I find it completely ridiculous that people can't stand and support Karen outside the courthouse, but law enforcement can be crawling everywhere. Law
in
enforcement,
uniform, in
yeah,
uniform.
in
Yeah,
uniform, and they're
yeah,
indirectly on trial here. So,
exactly.
and I'm telling you all, because this kind of tickles back to what you were saying. Um, you can't hear that. You cannot hear outside. Like, sure, can you hear sirens going by? Yeah, you can hear
Yeah,
sirens
that's
going by.
that's all I've ever heard. That's so true. That's all I've ever heard is the sirens. I've never. It's
Yeah.
all the times I've been broadcasting. Pretty much every single trial. Maybe one day I missed. I've never heard any chanting outside the court, so
Mm-mm.
I doubt those reports actually.
Well, and
I would just that's what it's funny because I like Jerry Thornton, but he's from Barstool Sports. He's done a good job
yeah,
covering it. But he posted one of his friends in the courthouse said that that was the reason that people shouldn't be protesting because the jury could hear it. But I
no
just
way.
don't. I've never heard it. It's true. That's a great point. I also want to note in the chat. I was checking out the chat earlier. People were going crazy about the James Jackson post. I've talked to James in the past. I believe that is like a troll account. We've blocked that account. That's not really James. So we love James Jackson. If I'm wrong, if I block the wrong account, James will let me know. But I'm pretty sure James is fine. He's got someone who's been harassing him. The trolls
Oh,
suck, don't they?
they suck, Mike.
Yeah, they act. There's a fake James Jackson accounts that pop up every once in a while. So that's why I was looking down. I was trying to figure out like, are they trolling poor James? I love James. I
I
love
do too.
JFK, and they're not gonna they're not gonna harass my boys in the chat tonight. They're
That's
not doing
great.
that.
They love you, by the way. They
Oh, they're
do.
good guys. Yeah,
Um, and but I imagine that was a troll account. And honestly,
it
Mike,
was.
like while we're on the subject, I mean, there's people in the free Karen Reed space harass who harass me.
Oh yeah.
So, you never know when I will leave it at this. You never know where your enemies come from. Sometimes they come with smiles. And
That's
also,
right.
if what are the sayings? Hurt people hurt people. And lastly, it's like, what does that say about you? Like you're gonna come into a chat and make people feel bad, like, or try to make people feel bad. What an embarrassment. Like,
True.
grow up and focus on what's most important. And guess what? For those trolls who think Karen Reed is guilty, well, then get the F out of the chat and go do something constructive, like grow some brain cells and try to piece together an articulate argument about how science and data proves that she did it, because she didn't do it. I'm sorry. I get really fired up about these people. But anyway.
I want to say I'm glad that you noted that sometimes it's not just anti Karen Reed people coming
Oh
for
yeah.
different people in the free Karen Reed. Sometimes it's within the free Karen Reed. It's happened to me. Like I'm surprised that it's happened to me as many times as it had this year from people that I was like, oh, really?
Yep.
You're coming at me? You coming at me? You know what's gonna happen
Me.
now? Like I'm gonna say shit, and everyone's gonna be like, you're an asshole, because I don't even come back at them. Like if people, there's been moments where people have done some shady shit to me from within free Karen Reed, and
Mm-hmm.
I don't even respond anymore. Like I've realized this year, over the last year or two, that they're coming at me because they want more. They think that they'll generate
Get a
some.
reaction.
Yeah, and it's like you're not getting a reaction. All you're gonna get is some people mad at you because you came at me. Like, because people love me. I realized that. Like,
Yeah.
I got people. People got my back. I got their back. They got my back. I don't need to play into the drama. So I just look at drama queens as being drama queens now. Like, I'm not here for drama. I'm here for one thing: free
Yeah.
Karen Reed, free Turtle Boy. If you're not about that, you're not getting on this show to talk about some drama about somebody else. Like
Oh,
there's been
I
a lot of
agree.
that. There's a few people coming at me this week about they got in a fight with somebody and they want me to get involved in it. And it's like, you're both my supporters. Why should I get involved in your fight? That's so stupid. Leave me out of it.
I
I'm
mean,
not here for your drama.
and
I'm tired of that shit.
I'm telling you right now, I see names, and we'll step off this topic because I
Yeah.
completely agree with you. But I'm telling you right now, I see names, some in your chat, of people who've spoken shit about me over
Sure.
the last few months. And I'm telling you guys right now, I'm done with it. Like, enough. I see a
Mm.
handful of names. Grow up. Fine. You have a problem with me? Then you come for me. Don't go hide in the warm, cozy, moist corners of a chat, because that just makes you no better than the McAlberts. So, and I mean it. I'm done, folks. My intentions are pure. I'm here for Karen Reed. I don't need YouTube fame. I'm not making a dime. The Reed family isn't paying me. Let's fucking do this. So
Yeah,
anyway,
like coming at you is ridiculous.
it
I'm
is.
sorry. I just gotta say, like, you are so valuable to the
Thanks,
show,
Mike.
to us, to our community. Like, you're a great guest for us to have on, give good information, get people, inspired. So I don't see why they're mad at you. All you've done is donate and give time. Like,
I
it's
don't
like a
know.
lot of people try to give time, but like your time is like, I don't know. I'm guessing you charge $500 an hour or more.
Not
Like your
anymore.
time is more valuable than other people's. I'm saying 500 because that's kind of where I was, the discounted price I would get like on the best lawyer. It's usually more. It's usually 550, 6, 7. I mean,
I
these lawyers charge so much money. So when you donate your skill set like
I
this,
I
it's just
now
I don't think people realize how valuable it is.
I now well, first of all, I upped my hourly rate just because I when I saw other lawyers donating their hourly rate, I'm like, shit, I don't charge
You
enough.
don't charge enough. You need what do you need to go up to 1,000? I want to know how. What do you charge? What would your rate? What did you raise it to? I'm interested because I
Oh
I
man.
do pricing even for dog
Yeah.
business, and we realize a lot too that we undercharge. But I like
Yeah.
my customers, so I spoil them. But
My
what do you
rate
charge?
my
What do you
rate
charge?
my rate for years since I started my firm, which was in 2016. And yes, to everybody, I've been practicing much longer than that, but when I opened up my own shop, my rate was $500 an hour, and I am worth every penny of that. But when I saw other lawyers donating and their hourly rate, I was like, shit, I don't charge enough. So now my hourly rate is $1,000 an hour, and then I discount it based on how much I like someone. So if I
It's
like you, the hourly rate is less than $1,000, and I just go off of it on a percentage rate. But my clientele are white coats. They're
they
doctors.
got they got the money. They got
Yeah,
the
and
money.
and there's lawyers who charge much more than that. But I found it funny that when I posted, and I saw it today because I don't dig into like the ant hills of Twitter. I don't have time to, but I was looking today. Somebody posted under the picture I posted of Mark Randazza and myself. Some troll posted like, "You guys, all you're doing is hanging outside a court. You must not have any clients." I was like, hey, jerk, my clients paid for me to go this time. I have clients, Mike, physicians who feel so strongly about Karen Reed that they paid for my trip. They paid for me to go. So, the trolls really, really bother me.
That
Oh,
must bother them even more when they find out. It's the same thing. They try to come after my dog customers. My dog customers are the same thing. They're texting me like 24/7. They're like, Mike, what's going on now with Alan Jackson? What's going on with this? They always want the inside scoop. It's like you think you're gonna get me in trouble with my customers when they're all free Karen Reed. It's so funny. That makes them even madder when they find out.
this is a funny comment, by the way. I love La. He's great.
Yeah, Larry's awesome. He donated too. I thank you so much. I, Larry Legend. He
Aw,
says, keep showing up. I paid for this, not Nan. Otherwise, it would have been 500 or even 1,000. I mean, Nan, you are
that's
amazing.
funny. Thank
Larry,
you.
that is funny.
But to people like thank you, Larry. To people like Betero, and Runkle, Emily Baker, Peter Tragos, Kurt the Uncivil Law, Brother Council, Andrea Burkhart. I think Melanie Little is retired. But to the practicing attorneys, and Emily is totally a streamer now, but to the practicing attorneys who give of their time to talk about this case. And yeah, am I in that group? Sure. But I'm excluding myself
I
from
think you're even more in that group. I mean, you and
what
Betero are different than the rest out of all those. I'm not that I'm dissing them. But I mean,
me
Peter is a professional YouTuber. Let's put it that way. He makes a lot of money on YouTube. You're not. You're
no,
donating your time. You and Betero to me are different than all. I'm not saying I don't respect some of them. I like a lot of them. I love Runkle. He's my guy. He
he's
makes me
funny.
laugh. I love Andrea. I love a lot of them. But you and Betero to me are on another level because you guys have been doing this because you really care about this and there's no like you don't even have a YouTube show. So like I
Yeah.
don't get why anyone throws any shade at any of you, because
He's
every time you come on these shows, you're donating to the people watching and to us, the YouTubers who are, you know, putting you on the screen. So I don't get it. I don't get it at all.
I don't either, but I will just say, it's the giving, and I really don't like to talk about myself this way. But it's the giving of time. Like Betero,
Yeah.
he'll talk to you for 4 hours.
Oh yeah.
If anyone hasn't seen him talking with Runkle the other night, I gotta watch that one. I mean, he's great on every stream he does. But the two of them went on for like 3 or 4 hours the other night, and I've kind of broken it up into segments while I've been either driving or running. And it's such a great conversation. Mark Betterow, I go back to saying it, he is the king. I'm not the queen. But the giving of time to really get into a discussion about all of the different angles of this case is just unbelievable. But anyway, so yeah, you'll definitely see this, or at least your audience would want to know there's this palpable presence of authority of law enforcement, both outside the courthouse and inside the courtroom. For my particular day, who started? I forget who started in the morning because we had the juror issue. I'll at least start with that. So we got into court.
True.
And I just have to mention again, like the Karen Reed's parents and Karen, but Karen Reed's parents are like the sweetest people I've ever met. Like it's opening doors for me. Would you like a mint? Do you need a jacket? Like they're just, I just want to scoop them up and just take them home with me and take them away from like the dark crevasses of Norfolk County. But so they're just wonderful people. But when we started the day in the courtroom, Judge Bev was late, surprise, surprise, coming in. And when she came in, her facial expression as she was walking in looked like she had grave concerns. And I'm like, oh shit, this is going to go south real quick. And she gets on the bench, immediately calls a sidebar, and then the attorneys go up, and I'm watching. And this is an old courthouse. It's an old courtroom. And for anyone maybe who can appreciate this, but you ever know, like in some rooms, especially ones that are of an older nature, like sound travels in different ways. So where you could be standing in one part of a room and someone could be saying something really quietly on another part of a room. And then for some reason, the sound travels to you and you can hear the conversation. So let's just say, when there's a sidebar, they play white noise in the room. You don't really pick up on that so much when you're watching it through a stream, but they play this white noise, and perceivably no one can hear what's being said. And next to me had Will the Glare and podcaster Annie Elise, and I don't think they could really see what was being see or hear what was being said, although it was clear the judge was pointing to two particular seats on the jury, and the jurors hadn't come in yet. I heard the conversation, so I'm not going to say everything I heard, but where I was sitting, sound was coming through just fine. And let's just say it was an issue with two jurors, and it has been squashed. But there was a concern. And
Was it more like a personal issue between two jurors, or one was like tattling on another, or something like that? Which was
no.
more? No.
No, I'm a little constrained in what I want to
Okay.
say because I
Yep.
definitely want to get back in that courtroom again. And
Sure.
despite the fact that that court officer like critiqued me and almost, you know, threw me against a wall
I
for
know,
having a
right?
notebook.
I
How
know.
dare I?
I mean,
I heard
that
the
I'm so glad
conversation.
you said that too. Like that, this is like this atmosphere of like control, police presence, like because that's
Yeah.
what I felt like. That's why I stopped going. Like I just applied to get in with the press, to get in the court. And I know they're not going to approve me. Knowing what I know now, what they've been doing with Machado and Aiden, there's no
Well,
way. They're going to look at my credentials and they're going to try to dice it every single way. And they're not going to accept the show, even though I have
yeah.
interviewed a U.S. Senator and 4 U.S. Congress reps from Massachusetts on this show. They're going to say I'm not a journalist, which is a bunch of bullshit. I mean, this is what's so bullshit about the state, is that they're trying to determine who's a journalist. I got many journalism awards I won, like from the past. And maybe I don't write for the print publications like I used to, but give me a break. This show has had a U.S. Senator and 4 U.S. Congress people come on the show, and they're taking several weeks to approve me as a journalist to go into the court. I mean, this is what we're up against. And this is the little games that they play. And I'm glad that you called it out as an attorney. I just really, this is why we have you here. You tell the truth, Nan, like nobody
I'm
else.
loud. I get Betterow said I'm a loud person. He said it nicer than that, but I call bullshit. He calls bullshit too. But I don't know, Mike. I don't think you'd want to go. Like I
I
did look
know.
over at
That's why
the
I was first, like, seriously, that's why I kind of like, because I saw Jessica Machado's post, and that's the way I felt last year when they did that to me
yeah,
in Mazda. That I couldn't even stand on the sidewalk. And I'm just like, and I heard they turned down LTL, and he's a
yeah.
journalist. Like, that's ridiculous that you turned down LTL Media. The guy is covering the fucking trial every day, and you say he's not a journalist. That is such bullshit. This is
Or
what I'm
they
so
say
frustrated.
like, "Well, you don't work for a
Yeah.
mainstream employer,
Yeah,
or
give me a
you don't
break.
write
He's
enough."
covering it better than the people at the Globe. The Globe get two passes. They're Boston Globe dot com and Boston Globe. They let them in both. It's such a ridiculous system that they've had set up,
Oh
and
yeah.
it's because they want to control us. They want the people that they can control in that courtroom, and it's not. It's working for them because they got Grant Smith Ellis in there every week. They got the other, Baghdad Bob. He gets in there almost every week. I mean, I'm so tired of it. And that's the reason why I haven't even want to go in there and cover it. I'm like, I'm just better just put it on the screen, just airing, broadcasting from remotely. Even there, if you read between the lines, they don't even want us to broadcast remotely without their permission.
No, I know. And like, what was that whole line
I
of
hope they come
bull?
after me. I welcome it. Come after me for broadcasting remotely. I don't care. Like this court, which they say the honorable. They just gave this woman an award, the Bar
Oh
Association.
my
I
god.
just shake my head at the whole system. I'm a guy who believed in the system a lot, like that we can change it. I never believed it was perfect. I thought there was corruption, but I've been shaken. Like the stuff I've been seeing over the last year or two. And I'm a guy, like I said, I've had all the politicians on the show. I've had them all. This is like gross what's going on in Norfolk County. It is not like the rest of the state. I don't believe every other district is like this. A lot of them are, unfortunately, but this is the worst. Norfolk County is a pit. I'm just saying.
I gotta hold something up to the camera and see if you can see it, because I don't want to like share it through. I don't know how to, or I'm not. It's not on my computer, but I have a picture of that's John DePetro running away from me on the street because I had a few choice for words for him while he
You
was walking
coward.
by. Like it's
And
he
that guy's not a journalist. That's the funniest thing. They approve
right.
him as a journalist and not LTL. Who's more truthful? LTL Media. I'm sorry. And you know what? If I'm going for journalism, I'd go for LTL Media. I'd go for Turtle Boy. I'd go for Jessica Machado. I'd go for, NBC
Yeah.
Boston, who doesn't always get in there either. Way over DePietro or Grant Smith Ellis. Those guys are propagandists. They're not journalists, and that's even more disgusting. That they sit there and they pretend that some of us aren't journalists. They're trying to yank Jessica Machado's press pass,
Yeah.
and she got assaulted by Grant Smith Ellis. Got a restraining order against him. Got it renewed. They let him in. This is why
It's
I
so
just can't deal with it
what's
anymore. It
the
makes me so
saying?
angry.
Bass backwards up there? Like,
Yeah,
I don't get it. And, like, people warn me, like, when I come up there, they're like, You need to leave because 'cause we're so messed up here. Like, don't let it taint you. Don't let it snuff out your light. Like, I things are just different in Norfolk County. And like then people will come and say, "Well, then leave. Stop commenting on it." But I want to try to help you guys as best I can. Not that anyone needs my help, but I feel pretty passionately about it. Um and just to look at the journalists who sit in the courtroom who were there the day I was there, uh I'm going to reserve some comment other than the fact that there was a funny natural human thing that happened while I was in the courtroom, which was after, I don't know if it was after lunch or after the morning break. One of the journalists, through his computer or iPad, whatever he was using, ended up like playing, when you like open up a smartphone or a smart, like an iPad, and music starts playing because you didn't shut down an app that you were in. And he starts playing what was like the equivalent of really bad porn music in the middle of the courtroom.
I think I
and
might
he
know who that is.
And he couldn't stop it. It just kept playing. It was like a bad nightmare. And he's like, I'm sorry, Your Honor. I'm so sorry. And he's like frantically trying to hit the button to turn it off. And I'm just sitting there laughing. And then the whole courtroom laughed. And the judge laughed, which was surprising that she had a moderate personality for a moment. But my day in court, other than the complete, ridiculous show of law enforcement oppression, I can't remember. I guess maybe I'm going out of order. They finished the testimony of that snoozer of a witness on the was it Hanley? Is it Christina Hanley? I don't know. Maybe your chat can help me. I didn't bring notes tonight. I thought we were just having a chat.
She's
But
the kind of the cute girl with the hair back.
yeah, like
The younger girl. Yeah.
the glasses.
Yeah. I
yeah,
liked her. Christina Hanley. Go ahead.
They finished up her testimony at the end of the day, and I thought that Alan Jackson was masterful with her. He ended up using, and I believe if my memory serves me correctly, there was a motion in limine to use a chalk or, a demonstrative during her testimony, where he and the defense team had assembled a chalk which showed all the different sources of glass. And, was it the cup glass? Was it this glass? Was it the glass that Buchanan touched? Was it the Proctor glass? And, I'm keeping this high level. Go back, everyone, and look at Wednesday's stream if it matters to you. And he was able to get her to concede after she completely, I mean, the woman just needs to answer questions. Jesus. But she was able to concede that, like, the glass on the bumper was not the glass. It's different glass, which means that the glass that was found on the bumper was the glass that was in the possession of Proctor. So, I mean, that's the most high level way of saying it. It was masterful the way they did it. I don't know if that landed properly and effectively with the jury. However, there will be defense experts who drill down on that further, defense testimony in their defense case in chief, also in closing arguments. But this was a huge concession. Like the bad glass that's on the bumper was touched by Proctor and was not from the source that the Commonwealth would like to fool everyone into thinking it was from. I see this question.
She says, also, can someone tell me if we've ever heard someone mention 2 cocktail glasses were taken from the bar?
Oh, I heard that too. I'd have to depend on your chat because I thought that John, and I don't like to misspeak in the position I'm in right now, but I thought John brought a glass out, and then I thought that Karen has been said to have brought a glass out. I don't know, and I tell everyone when I don't know something, because the last thing I ever want is someone to like then post later, well, Nan Gallagher said there's 2 glasses. So I really don't know the answer to that. Do you, Mike, or anyone in your chat? I think it's important, though, to just keep in mind that there is now scientific evidence down to the matching of the glass that the piece on the bumper was not from the glass, the infamous glass that we're talking about here. So it's all roads lead back to Proctor.
Always lead back to Proctor, and that's the one they don't want it to lead back to. They don't want them on the stand. Here's a question from Heather too. She says, Dan, what if the Commonwealth comes out and blames Proctor for possibly planting the glass and then tells the jury, but look at all the other evidence? Could they trick the jury that way?
I think that even though the Commonwealth does not cease to amaze me in their complete ineptitude, I think it's probably too late for the Commonwealth to take that path. If they can't now. I mean, it's sounding like they're closing their case soon. I hear there's maybe 3 more witnesses. I'm surprised. I think they have many missed opportunities. I would have gotten ahead of some of the the stuff that's going to come their way and get shoved down their throat in the defense case in chief. However, as far as I'm concerned, I don't think that they would come now and say, it's all Proctor's fault. Ignore all that. Just look at the other evidence, because I think that would have come out in, I'm trying to say it the right way, Buchanan's testimony. I don't want to say it the bad way, but I think it'd be too late for that. If I were the Commonwealth, I would have thrown him under the bus a little bit more. I don't know why they didn't. So we'll see what happens. But as far as we're concerned, the lack of matching of the glass is critical, although it's a really boring topic. So it's just one more reason
Sure.
why Karen
Yeah.
Reed. Yeah.
Another reason to say not guilty.
But then when I was there that day, I also heard, and I was happily surprised, even though it probably, someone just asked in your chat, is that my Northshore Nacho Night t-shirt? Yes, it is. My Northshore Nacho Night t-shirt. Yes. But
Cheryl with an S also says about that. She said, "So nice
oh,
hanging out with you on Tuesday night, Nan."
Cheryl, it was really great to meet you, and thank you also for my bracelet. She literally wove me a beaded bracelet while she was sitting outside of court. And it's funny, Mike, like people come up to me and they just, not everyone, they just tell me their handle. They're like, "Hi, I'm
Isn't
Cheryl
that
with an
awesome?
S."
Isn't that so funny? It's so fun. Like the one that I laughed at. Like I was at that party where people saw me dancing,
That
but the
was great.
Sketty Stain come up to me. Morrissey's Sketty Stain came up
Yep.
to me and said, "I'm Morrissey." I was like, "Oh my god, oh my god!" Like so funny.
I
The
love
screen
that.
handles, I love it. I think it's hilarious when you find out the YouTube screen handles and they come up to you and you're just
Oh,
so. It
yeah.
is. It's hilarious. It is funny.
And Cheryl with an S, it was great to meet you. You are such a sweetheart. Um, but the other thing I was surprised, happily so, about was that on Wednesday when I was in court, I got to sit in on the neurosurgeon's testimony, Dr. Isaac Wolf. And everyone just needs to understand, like, this is in my area of law. So, I mean, I'm a healthcare lawyer. I represent doctors. I take the depositions, direct and cross-examination of physicians and neurosurgeons for a living. So I was like, oh, I get to hear this. Let's hear this. And he's the doctor um, who kind of replaces Scorty Bello, the medical examiner, because the medical examiner, wasn't going to give the manner of death, which is really important for the Commonwealth. It's the death knell, as far as I'm concerned, and it should have been the death knell in 1.0. So I wanted to hear what a neurosurgeon who's been practicing for like 40 years, who is a brain surgeon and operates on living people, what he had to say about like the cause of the injury to the back of John O'Keefe's head. So I was listening intently. And, he was your typical neurosurgeon. Now, you may not all have an appreciation for that, but I can tell you, and in fact, I showed Mrs. Reed at lunch, because I had written at the top of my notes, I wrote, "All neurosurgeons are arrogant." So to any of my clients who might see this, like who are neurosurgeons, you guys you're arrogant. You operate on brains. I'm paying you a compliment, but the sun rises and sets for you. And you've got,
Phrase, yeah. There's a phrase. He's not a rocket scientist, right? Or
yeah,
a brain surgeon. Like that's like the same, right? Rocket
it
science
is.
and brain surgeon are kind of like those. Yeah, people put
Yeah.
your high esteem up there.
So he's is your typical neurosurgeon, and he operates on 5 brains, then comes back to the house and makes his wife a cappuccino, and then goes back and operates on 20 more brains. And ooh, okay, you're fabulous, great, Dr. Wolf. But I don't really care, other than the fact that I thought his testimony fell flat for Brennan. I mean, you've got, and I'm for anyone who wants like the in-depth analysis of his testimony, then I would encourage you to go look at the streamers who really do the side by side and the line by line analysis. But big picture is, he was trying to say that the injury to the back of John O'Keefe's head was caused by a fall that, you would typically see if in colder climates, if someone falls on snow or ice, etc. But he struck the ground, having been launched at a high rate of speed. But it all fell flat. As far as he was concerned, I know. Now, I can't say the jury knows, but I know that this guy hasn't had, and I do wish that, and I think it was Alessi questioning him. I do wish that this doctor was a little bit more strenuously cross-examined on this point. This doctor hasn't had any forensic pathological experience since his residency 35 years ago. Okay? He's not a medical examiner. It's not his role to determine causation of injuries. He is there to treat them. In fact, I put something out on Twitter today about it. Like, your job is to fix brains. You don't determine what caused or how something caused an injury to the brain. So he went into his coup contra coup theory as to what happened to John O'Keefe, and I think it fell flat. So I do wish, if I could give one little critique to Karen's team, I wish they were a little bit firmer with him in terms of how it's not his role to get into the causation or what we call proximate causation of injuries. But other than that, the testimony from my day in court was a little boring, but it's always exciting. And I feel honored to be able to be present during any of the days. I would also mention that I'm coming back. So I hope to attend another day of court sometime before the trial is over. So I mean, it was an interesting day. I feel like I'm missing some things about how court went. Oh, the jury. We could talk about the jury, right, Mike? And
I definitely want to talk about the jury. That's what
yeah,
it's one of the big questions that came up in the chat tonight is people want to know, how was the jury? Look, here's one. Let me find it. But
yeah.
they want to know about the jury. Everyone wants to know about the jury tonight.
So they're young, and I know you've all been hearing this, but let me give you some perspective. I never saw Jury 1.0. I know they were an older mix. I see a lot of juries. This is probably one of the youngest juries demographically that I've ever seen. In fact, like, some of the people I would dare say are teenagers. But anyway, they're young. I actually was in court last month for jury selection, and I recognized some of the people. But as far as the jury itself, there is a palpable way. Oh, that's a good question, KCL. There is a palpable way that they respond to Hank, and Jackson and Alessi. They seemed bored, but I was in court for a kind of boring day. So I can't say they would have been, how they would be engaged with Buchanan or Jen McCabe or something like that. I think they're all going to be like sitting on the edge of their seat when the defense calls Proctor. That's going to be fun. But as far as watching the attorneys, they are definitely, I mean, there's no comparison. Once AJ or Alessi start speaking, they sit up. Now, admittedly, that happens when there's a change in the person questioning. Blood pressure regulates. You wake up, you perk up a little bit. But they were hanging on every word. I mean, to listen to Alessi ask questions on pretty complex issues and to have the jury really looking and be engaged is really fascinating. And then Jackson, it's just, they seem to really resonate with him. One juror in particular takes more notes than me. So for anybody who knows how many notes I take, I mean, the smoke was just coming right off his pages. He wrote everything down, and that's how I roll. The other guy sitting next to him is, he would have been the kid in school who looks at your notes and like steals your answers, because the whole time he was doing this. Just watching all the notes.
He's writing.
Yeah. But there's more, from what I understand, there's more of a racially homogenous, or is that the word, diverse? I say not homogenous, diverse group. So there's different races um, in the jury. They seem to be very interested in what's going on in the courtroom. So when I would look over to the jury, they were looking at the O'Keefe family, they were looking at the Reed family, they were looking everywhere. I did not find them particularly engaged in what I think her name is Hanley, had to say. That's why I have a little concern that this beautiful bullet that came out of her testimony following the showing of that chalk might get missed. I want that to be recapitulated by the defense team, which I'm sure it will. And I think that also when you hear Dr. Isaac Wolf testify, they seem to glaze over a bit too. So, at this point, I think that the Commonwealth has lost the jury. That's just my sense. I didn't see how engaged they were at the beginning, but how many weeks are we into trial now? If it officially started April 22nd, maybe that's when openings were. And now you're at a point where it's like Memorial Day weekend, and we still don't know that there was a car accident or how it took place. And we're talking about maybe a small handful of witnesses left. I'd be pissed if I was a juror. I would be mad. I'd be like, what are we doing here? But I don't think they know that the Commonwealth is going to rest soon. So maybe they think they're going to find something out. But the last I heard, it's going to be possibly Crosby, the dog bite guy, whatever, the vet, Welcher, who we could talk about that. I'm sure, I don't know if you've chatted with Betterow about how Aperture shit the bed. I mean, that's just the gift that keeps on giving. And then who else might they call? I don't even know. If someone wants to throw it up in your chat. I've heard, and I don't know how people know this, but I've heard it's just a small handful. Maybe Flamati, like he's the other kind of firefighter paramedic who thinks he heard, I hit him, I hit him, I hit him, or something of that variation. So, the jury just seems disinterested. They seem more interested in what's going on in the courtroom. And if they are disinterested at this point and there has been really no showing that there was an accident or how it took place, then they're going to soak up. I mean, like soak up like a crusty piece of bread, and you're soaking up like the zuppa de clams that we eat here in New York City. Like they're going to soak up the defense case in chief, and I'm here for every minute of it.
Comment. Felicia said it's $5 and said in a collision 8 years ago, I was thrown out over 30 feet and hit the back of my head on flat concrete. No skull fractures or lacerations on my head. It reminds me of something I did when I was younger.
My God. What happened to
I
you
shouldn't say
when
it
you were
because I know someone else who did the same thing as me and ended up dead. But remember Teen Wolf?
Yes.
He's
Gen
surfing on the
X.
car.
Yep.
I fell off the car
Oh, no.
when I was 17. I was fine. I got up and went home, never told my parents.
Did you have a concussion?
No.
Oh, my
No.
God.
My elbow still hurts to this day, though. You know what I mean? But I hit my head on my elbow, and it, just like them. It's funny. And no concussion, no.
You're very lucky.
I got concussions from wrestling, but not that. I didn't get any skull fracture like Felicia says. So it's interesting. You never know. But I don't know. I mean, what do you think? I think the whole thing too about cracking your head. I mean, that is. You could say, yeah, a car could hit somebody and they could crack their head and smack their head on the concrete. That could happen, right? But what's more likely? Like, oftentimes when someone gets a skull fracture like that in the back of the head, the first thing I think of is they got punched.
Yeah.
They got knocked out. And this is the worst fear. This is why I don't get in fistfights ever. And I'll never throw a punch. Even when I was a bouncer. You know, guys would throw punches at me. I wouldn't throw punches. I would get them down maybe and hold them down, but I'd never throw a punch because if you hit somebody and they get knocked out, they fall back and hit their head and they're dead. they're dead. There was a guy in Quincy that happened to. He got sucker punched. Trying to break up a brawl out like side of VFW. Got punched, fell back, hit his head, and he was dead. I mean, this happens a lot. So
It
to
does.
me, the skull fracture thing, I always think about like getting punched in the back of the head. A punch in the
People
front of the head hit you back of your head.
and people go to jail for that. It's not intended. Like if you get into these, not always, but you get into
Yeah,
bar fights. Like I've had
manslaughter. Yeah,
clients. Some of my clients that's happened to, or they've had to do prison time, or their children. I get calls like, "Hey, my son just got in a fight at a bar, and this is what happened." So we've had to get a lot of a lot of people out of trouble with the kind of unintended consequences of smacking someone or punching someone in the face. I
yeah,
actually had a concussion once when I fell back roller skating, landed right on my head, and but I never like split open the back of my head. This made me pull up my notebook that from the trial because I wanted to just mention a couple things that Dr. Wolf was saying. He went out of his way in his very boring way of saying it to say, that type of wound on the back of his head is typically caused, quote, when soft tissue hits solid ground. How the hell does he know? I mean, I would have loved to cross examine him. How do you know that, sir? Like, are you a forensic analyst? How do you know that that's the type of wound that would be caused when the head hits solid ground? In fact, I have evidence to the contrary of that. And how does he know it was solid ground? I mean, is it solid snow? Was it solid ice? Is it solid ground? There's been so many different variations that have come from the Commonwealth, at least maybe not fully in this trial, but along the storyline of this case as to whether it was hard snow that he landed on, or maybe it was ice, or maybe it was the ground. It's hard as a rock. That was going around back in March when I was up the first time. So, it's kind of inappropriate for a neurosurgeon to come in and start, speculating when he has no idea what the hell he's talking about. But, no doubt, I mean, he's certainly an accomplished neurosurgeon. But if the Commonwealth has to dig deep and find a neurosurgeon with no recent, I mean, by decades long recent experience in forensic pathology to offer opinions like this, they're scraping the bottom of the barrel. In fact, when I was talking to Karen's mother about this on the way to lunch, I said to her, a neurosurgeon is not qualified to offer opinions on causation of these types of injuries. They're just not. But I don't expect people to understand that because that's not, it's kind of beyond the average knowledge base of lay people who don't understand the medical sciences. Um, but anyway, there was one other comment that I did make in my notebook when I was listening to the testimony, and I'm chuckling now because there are notes in the margins from Will, like Will the Glarer was writing on my notebook, "Don't talk, you're gonna get in trouble. Stop talking." Because I was like huffing and puffing listening to this doctor testify. Will was like, "Please stop. Don't get yourself thrown out of court."
you could
Um,
feel it.
wouldn't that have been funny? Like Nan Gallagher the lawyer of the group gets tossed out of court for misbehaving. Uh,
I'm waiting for someone to do that. Stand up and say, "Agree," like just like That's why I probably shouldn't go in the courtroom. I probably lose my shit like eventually. I
yeah,
know
like
I just say that I would be good. I would be on my best behavior, obviously, but it just there's a certain part of me that just like wishes somebody would do that, even though I don't want to see it because they would come back bad at us. You know what I mean? The media would be like, "Oh, look, these
they're acting
protesters," and
up. Yeah,
yeah,
I
these
think
kids are all acting up again. Yeah, but
Brian
it
LTL got himself talked to as well. I think when
who
he was
did
in Brian
LTL?
LTL, yeah, when he
What
was
the
up.
hell did he do? He's the nicest guy in the world. What the hell could he do to get talked to?
I'm trying to remember. It was like 3 weeks ago, and he was in court, and it was the day. Maybe he didn't specifically get talked to, but I think he did. It was the day that they convened like a meeting in the prosecutor's office, and like Paul O'Keefe was in there. Like, do you remember? Maybe your audience
I heard
remembers.
about it. I heard
There
that
was
something
a
happened.
meeting, and everyone's like, "What's going on? It's going to be a
And then Paul got moved to
mistrial."
the back row.
And I want to say, I don't want to misspeak because I don't think Brian got in trouble, but I want to say that was the day that it people were generally informed, like, nobody can be looking at the O'Keefe family. You can't look at them. They feel threatened. They've got
I
boo
think
boo.
this is. Yeah, I'm sorry. I have sympathy, some sympathy for them, but come on, they're acting like they're like Caesar, the emperor. Don't look at the
Yeah,
god. You can't
like,
look in the eyes of the god. Like this is the
like,
stuff that they say Tom Cruise does with his servants. Don't
but
look in my eyes. Like don't look at me. Like that's so shady. That is like, come
it
on.
is. And like, seriously,
If
I
you don't
told
want to go, if you don't want to be looked at, don't go to court because everyone in the world is looking at you. There's a camera on you. Everybody's watching you. So if you don't want to be looked at, don't go to court.
yeah, but
Easy.
also, like, seriously, like, let's harken back for a moment, shall we? How about, and I know he's been relegated to the back row, but Paul O'Keefe, like, he
Yeah.
would stare down Karen
Right.
like, the Terminator staring at Sarah Connor.
Yeah.
You'll appreciate that as Gen X.
Yeah.
He used to stare her down. Now he sits in the back and he's just watching like a lump on a log. And then also, how about that infamous picture of Brian Higgins staring at Karen, that with that look that
Right.
could kill? What a tremendous photograph that was. Like, that's, you want to talk about photographs that make me like move me. That
Right.
photograph with him in the not Higgins. Did I say Higgins? I meant Albert, folks.
Brian
I'm
Albert.
sorry.
Yeah, we know
With
which one. Yeah.
Brian Albert in the backdrop and Karen in the forefront or the foreground, and him staring at her. But yet, like, I can't look at a woman who's sniffling in the front row
It's
when she shouldn't be
ridiculous.
emoting at all.
It's
So anyway,
ridiculous. That's
um,
it's ridiculous. And it's you're so on point.
thank you.
If you want to get treated a certain way, then maybe you should act like that. Like if you act one way, don't expect people not to act the same way.
Well, I totally agree. But I think it's most important, and you guys can't read it, but I circled something that Dr. Wolf said, and it was the most important part of his testimony to me. And he said, quote, "I am not a forensic pathologist. I am a brain surgeon." And I was like, we're done with this guy. Like, this is classic my
I'm
cousin
an ego.
Jenny.
I am not this. I'm an egomaniac. That's pretty much what I hear there.
Yes,
Is
yeah.
that what it is? Like I'm a very smart man.
Yeah, like, oh, because you say you are, sir. Like, look,
I'm a
he,
rocket scientist. Bow down, peasants.
I'm sure everyone I'm hoping everyone heard his testimony and wasn't worried. I'm not worried.
Oh man.
Because the other doctor, I forget the name. It's a female doctor for the defense from Rhode Island, La Posada or
Yeah,
something.
it's a new one.
She's going to blow his doors off. That
I'm
is
looking
going to
forward to
be
the new
fire.
experts. Yeah.
So all in all, Mike, it was kind of a boring trial testimony day, but I will say that, and I did look, the woman's name was Christina Hanley, that boring lab
Christina
tech.
Hanley.
She seems to me like she seems very uptight. Like, this woman needs to relax a little bit. She gets all bent out of shape when a question's posed to her.
Well, I'm sure there's a lot of pressure from, being in that position. And
Yeah, I
she's
guess
young, you
so.
know?
She's young, but you know what? If you're going to be whatever her role is, like a lab tech,
Yeah.
and one of your job responsibilities isn't just to do these comparisons, one of your job responsibilities is to come into court and in
Yeah.
a credible and persuasive way set forth to a jury to support the Commonwealth's theories beyond a reasonable doubt that certain pieces of key evidence match up. Then you got to, like, reach down to your diaphragm, take a breath, sound out what you want to say, be confident, or find another profession. Her testimony took long. I mean, it was like watching paint dry. So I think she has another calling in her future. This isn't it. as far as
Science and not do the testimony.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah,
stick
you're
with the
right. You're right.
science.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's what I got. I'm looking forward to going back very soon, and I'm gonna be once I get admitted up in Massachusetts, I am gonna be setting up a satellite office in the Boston area.
Right. We might have to refer you some clients. There's always stuff
Maybe.
happening up here now. So
Yeah, it'll be fun. I made a lot of good friends while I'm up there.
Kelly has a question. I bet JM is the one who put the idea of JO being hit by a plow in Karen's head. And she
Mhm.
called her that morning because she knew exactly how the scene would look, would explain her questioning if she could have hit him.
Yeah, so,
It's
I
possible.
by the way, Kelly, I love your I always love your handle. This is first of all, I think you're correct, but this is also something that's worth mentioning. I strongly subscribe to the theory that Jennifer McCabe, and we all say like she
Hmm.
influenced Kerry Roberts and Peggy O'Keefe. The power of suggestion is so important in this case.
Wicked.
I think Jen McCabe has inserted herself into every little single piece of this case, whether it's just gently suggesting snowplow incident or, oh, you guys came by the house. You guys went to 34 Fairview. We saw you. Or let's check John's house first just to buy them more time in case John wasn't expired yet on the front lawn of 34 Fairview. I think her level, and these are my opinions, I think her level of complete evil manipulation is diabolical. She is the most evil person in the whole mix, as far as I'm concerned. And she has been controlling and monitoring and trying to temper and influence the narrative of this case from the very beginning, including when she was approached by the FBI. And oh, I'm Nicole Albert. I'm not Jennifer McCabe. Let me go inside and go make a bunch of fucking phone calls. And oh, it was just I wanted to just see if they had come to them, like the ice cream truck is going around. Wanted to know if the ice cream truck came into their neighborhood. Bullshit. So she's the worst. And I can't wait. And if she wants to sue me, come for me because I will get all of the discovery that doesn't seem to be coming out yet. So I welcome that lawsuit, Miss McCabe, if I'm hurting your feelings. But yeah,
Suing everybody. They've been telling us for 2 years they're suing everybody. And the list keeps getting longer. Now Howie Carr's on the list. Now Howie's getting
yeah.
sued. Add
Oh,
Howie to
poor
the list.
Howie. Poor Howie. I mean,
I
he's
don't know if
got such
Howie's gonna I don't know if Howie's gonna make it. I don't know.
poor Howie.
Uh,
He'll be just fine.
Howie's like, yeah, Whitey Bulger's gonna sue me too. uh
Well, and by the way, that made me think when you mentioned Whitey Bulger, that made me think of Hank Brennan real quick. He's just a sleazeball.
he
There,
is
I
now.
said
It's
it.
so obvious now. He
He's
is
a
a sleazy little
sleazeball.
mother, yeah.
And I have to say, in listening to LTL's show, which it aired last night, but I listened to it today. I think Brian LTL has. I'm going to say it. I think he has the best Hank Brennan impression out there. I think
Oh,
he's
he
got.
does. He is so
Yeah,
good at that.
yeah.
Brian's hitting his stride again. I love it. Brian's been doing some good work, good shows. I like Brian a lot. And
I was
Mazza's back. I love those are my boys, obviously. I love Brian and Mazza.
I love Mazza. Yeah, I was listening to him. I was resting this afternoon after a baseball tournament, and I put Mazza on, and his very melodic voice lulled me into a nap. You did not put me to sleep, Mazza,
Oh,
but you definitely have a very calming demeanor.
doesn't he? It's
Yeah,
like
I
feels
like
like
it.
everything's gonna be okay, silky smooth.
Yes,
I'm told he was promoting my defense fund today. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much, Mark Mazza Media. Follow him. He was in the chat today too. We're gonna get him back on the show. We're gonna get him both. I want to get Brian and Mazza back on the show very soon. Now
yeah.
that I'm starting to do shows again, I got to get them back on. I love those guys here. Um, yeah, and I also heard from DJ from Calling All Beings. I guess he's doing a show a week from Sunday to do a fundraiser for my defense fund as well. So I thank you. I thank you, everybody. I've just checked the latest update on the GoFundMe, and we're up like another $1,000. I'm
Yay!
like blown away. I gotta say, we're at 5,895. We raised more than $1,000 during the show for my defense fund. Just thank you, everybody. I didn't think we'd ever get over 5,000.
Well,
We're over 5,000. It's just thank you so much. It's just wild.
well, Mike, kind of alluded to this while I was in the green room before your show, but I have a couple of ideas in mind that maybe will help inspire anyone feeling generous to donate to your defense, or not your defense, your
My defense.
GoFundMe.
Yeah, GoFundMe
Um,
defense fund.
yeah, I don't know if you were calling it a defense fund, but I actually have some ideas. Like I'm willing to donate some things or opportunities, or have personal interactions, or you know we'll talk about it, but I'm
So
happy to do anything to inspire people to help you out.
awesome.
Yeah.
It almost feels like I may not mean much more. We'll see. It's going really well. So I want to thank everybody who's been supporting and donating, and it's just unbelievable.
Yeah,
We get
well,
some more super chats I want to read.
read them.
Enough about me. Enough about me tonight. Sham Wow says Hank got Dr. Wolf to say people in Minnesota get drunk and fall on their head all the time.
I have to say, hey, ShamWow, might be true. The drinking up there, it's pretty legendary. And I don't mean any offense, but a lot of people drink up there, but that, whatever. It's funny.
Massachusetts, we drink too. There's a lot of drinking in Massachusetts, so we can relate to that. That was probably one thing we can relate to Minnesota on.
Yeah.
I mean, I know a lot of people, a lot of dudes growing up that like could have died because they passed out drunk in a snowstorm. You know what I mean? Like you'd find a guy, you'd be like, "Come on, dude, what are you doing? You're gonna freaking die!"
Yeah.
That was just like growing up. Like that would just happen. Like just very common.
But I know you're reading some super
Crazy.
chats, Mike,
Yeah.
but did you, because I'm not sure I heard if you streamed about it. Like how did you react to Shannon Burgess?
I
That
mean,
it was
the
just
whole
laughable, right?
yeah. I mean, the guy is such a joke.
He was.
How do you lie about your resume? Number one, like how do you deny it and be like, oh, I didn't notice it was online. Come on, come
Well, yeah.
on.
He didn't know it was online. He had an excuse for everything. He lied about his credentials, and he's gonna bring down, in my opinion, Aperture, the company that is, what is it? Judd Welcher is like the executive vice president of, I think, if I heard that right. But he's gonna rope in Aperture in all of this. They misadvertise poorly and under credentialed experts. It's all designed to make money and profit and to defraud courts and insurance companies. But I just wanted to get your take on that, because that was unbelievable what happened, that I guess over the course of 2 days, when Alessi was cross-examining him. And I would just mention to your audience, and I'm sure this has been said during many other streams, but I'll at least give my insight. That's really, really hard to do. What what Alessi did with Shannon Burgess, in a kind of, I would say it was in a polite and friendly and meticulous way to cross-examine him, but in such like the diction he used, the punctuation he used, Alessi's like, correct. That's right. You're not qualified. Like I'm sitting there going, this is just, it's like going to Disney World. And when I had lunch with at David Yannetti's Dedham office with Karen's family and her team, they go into a separate war room to talk about their case. So just so everyone knows, they're not all like talking with other
Yeah.
people during lunch, but they went into their other room. And when they came out, when they were done talking about the case, I went right up to, I'm looking for a picture right now. I went right up to Alessi and I was just like, you were unbelievable. And I didn't, he wasn't going to talk to me specifically about the case, but I said, you were really unbelievable yesterday, and I would love a picture. And we have one. Yeah, there he is.
He's a rock star.
He's a good guy.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's
you
a
guys
really
look
good
cute
guy.
together.
Oh, thank you. Yeah,
Yeah, that's the
I
word.
got,
He's asked him a word he didn't know, which was mendacity.
yeah, I didn't know that word, by the way. They
And
asked
then
me
he
that.
said, "Wait, do you want?" When he didn't know that, he ended up coming back to. Do you understand academic? I think it was dishonesty or
Yeah,
academic. What was it? What
I
was
think it was
that? Was that it?
academic
Academic dishonesty.
dishonesty.
Yeah,
Yep. I mean,
he understood that one. He got that one.
there's no recovering from this. Like, there's no recovering for Shannon Burgess. Um, the fact that there was not only like the little things like the breaking of the link to the LinkedIn page of Shannon Burgess
Yeah,
through
they
the
took it
Aperture
down.
website.
Right.
Um, the the fact that not only did Burgess misadvertise and or Aperture misadvertise the credentials of Burgess, but it wasn't just the status of procuring the degree. It was the fact that that particular Bachelor of Science doesn't exist at the University of Alabama. Um, this was like a, as we say, like a cornucopia of issues. And Alessi went through all of it. And I saw someone write in your chat, like, I'm fangirling. I was fangirling. Like, I love Bob Alessi. Um, I had an opportunity to meet when I met him the first time. He walked right up to me and he said, Nan Gallagher, the smartest attorney I've never met. And I am going to tattoo that onto myself if Bob Alessi said that to me, because he is like the shit, Mike. He's amazing. And he's the nicest person, and he makes great eye contact, and he just slithers up there and asks people questions. Like, he's so nice. But meanwhile, he's like jamming the knife in the back of some of these witnesses.
He knows how to do it. He knows how to do it. He's really
Yeah.
good at it. I
Oh,
noticed his daughter. His daughter is online too. Like they both
yeah.
box. I don't know if you've seen his daughter. His
Yep.
daughter is like both of them. Like I got some muscles from wrestling, but they are like I
Oh,
would
they're
not mess with the
jacked.
daughter. That daughter, she know, and she looks like smart, but she knows how to fight. Like it's
I
like
met
both of them.
her.
Yeah,
Yes.
I like them both. I follow her on Twitter. Jody Mitchell sent $10 and said, "Hi Mike, hi Nan. Had the pleasure of meeting Nan at the North Shore event. Such
Hey.
a lovely woman. Great show tonight." And I gotta say, Jody Mitchell was the one of the main fundraisers, coordinators at that party where I was dancing. They raised
Okay.
thousands of dollars for Karen Reed too. Jody and her friend. Uh, so I love Jody. Jody's great. Thank you, Jody. You have
Oh,
something to say?
I have
You met
two
her?
things I have 2 things to say. Jody, it was great to meet you. And then coincidentally, I am literally hearing the ice cream truck is driving past my house today. I think, yeah, maybe I should call Jen McCabe and let her know, so she's in the loop. The ice cream truck is arriving. But anyway, Jody, it literally is outside. But Jody, it was such a pleasure to meet you, and it was an unbelievable night. Like, people kept saying, "Are you overwhelmed? Are you overwhelmed?" And I was like, "Yeah, I am officially overwhelmed." So I don't know what was like went over bigger. I was completely overwhelmed by how many people were there, or the fact that people were surprised I was wearing black leather pants. It was one of the two. So Nan was rocking the black leather pants that
I
night,
wouldn't be
but
surprised by that. I could see Nan wearing black leather. Definitely could see that.
it was
I
fun.
would not be surprised by that.
JFK, oh, and you'll appreciate this. So I went up to him, and and he was there, and I kind of went up to him and I was like, "Wow, you smell really, really good. Like, what are you wearing?" And he said, Gucci. I said, "What cologne are you wearing?" He said, Gucci. I said, "You smell really good." And he said, "You need to calm the fuck down, Nan." And I was like, "All right." I felt like I was on one of his shows. He's a good guy.
It's funny. It's funny. The first time I met JFK, this was years ago, way before all this stuff. Um, there's a guy that we both know who was doing a little independent movie, and both cast us in the movie. And JFK is more of an actor. I'm not an actor.
Yeah.
So I'm supposed to, JFK is supposed to be like the thug in the situation. I'm supposed to be the cop, and I'm supposed to be rapping on the window. And I couldn't do it. I couldn't be the hard guy cop. I'm not an actor. And like within 5 seconds, he looked at me. He's like, "What the hell is this dude doing here?" Like he just said it, and I was like, I started laughing, and I was like, "Oh my god, I love this guy. He
He
knows.
loves
He knows. He
you.
knows I can't freaking act." And so like anytime we'd see each other, we were cool with each other, and I supported him. He supported me, and I just love him. Like, and not only that, like I looked him up after that day. He's
He
got like he did a movie back in the day that was, I love this movie with this kid, this autistic kid, and it's like on the streets of like East Boston. It's a really good movie. Like JFK's all, and it's all like what JFK means is just for kids.
I did not know
Like,
that.
yeah, like his whole thing is like positivity and bringing people up like that. That's what I always liked about him. And even like watching him before Karen Reed, he would do stuff like with the rappers. Like he's got a level of success in the rap game. Like not huge, obviously, but he's got up there a little bit. Like he hangs out with some
Oh,
profession. He runs a record label. You know what I mean? Like he's like got a level of professionalism and a level of connections with like Eminem and those guys in New York. So like he would basically help some of the other rappers by having like these little contests online, Facebook.
I
And the
did not
winner would
know
get to
that.
go on the radio station, Sirius, XM, some
Yeah.
shady, static selected. This is big. So he's basically giving people opportunities, but not only that, like making them work at it and get better at what they do. Like he's really all about it. It's not about the glitz. It's
Yeah,
about
the
the
glit.
work. Put the hustle in, do the work, perfect your talent. And I just like what he does. So
I
he's
like
always
what
been
he
that way.
I
He's a
like
good
what he
guy.
does, and I really love the way he discusses the Karen Reed
Me
case
too.
with James Jackson or himself or with his friend
Friends.
Kevy Kev. And I had put this one on social media, but this was us at Northshore Nacho night.
Yeah, I saw that one. I
Pardon my
like
ring
that. That's a
light,
good
but
picture. He's
anyway.
always got the Whitey Bulger shades on.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I love
Um,
JFK. I love him. One day I was walking a big dog actually, Salem Common. And all of a sudden I look up and it's JFK. He's filming a video. I'm like, "What's up, bro?" we run into each other. That was one of the last time I saw him. That was right before the Karen Reed stuff. Like
the two
he's
the
always
two of
hustling.
them, yeah, like the two of them together, and even when they're separate, like I love James Jackson's layover. They just really I was late in the game following them. Like I definitely didn't fully appreciate them until I don't know, maybe the end of last year. Like I was following other content creators before them. And now that I have found them, they give me such joy. Like I love that JFK mixes this case in with music, which is a really big important part of my life. Not a lot of people know that. So and he's online, like he's streaming I think almost every day about this case. So I am sure to get information about the case, really good analysis from him and James, and music. So it's like the trifecta for me.
It's
And
very
they
good.
really like you a lot.
I like them too.
Yeah.
And
What else
I
we
mean,
got for super chat?
I gotta say too, like they're not only is JFK like I like him and all that other stuff we said, he's got credibility in the music scene. Like if you're into especially like independent hip hop like I am, Terminology is like one of the biggest names in independent hip hop in Massachusetts, Lawrence, Massachusetts. Kids from, and he's on. That's the label. He's on JFK's label, like with
Oh,
Static Selector and JFK. And JFK doesn't even talk about it much. I didn't realize that he was like leading that label with Static, and it's pretty wild to find out that. So not only is he a rapper, he's like hooked up with some of the biggest names in independent hip hop. Like if you're into hip hop, you know who Terminology is.
oh
You
yeah.
yeah.
And
Term
when I went out for last month with them to the North End, they were like the two most chivalrous gentlemen. Like they opened doors for me, pulled my seat out for me, took me to one of the nice bakeries and got me some ricotta pie, and um they were wonderful. Like, I would expect them to be like street thugs. They were like the nicest guys. Like, the moon was out. It was like a full moon that night. They're like, "Let's take a picture with the moon in the background." And I'm like, is this a date? It was so nice with them.
Oh,
Yeah, I
they are.
really like
They're
them
good
a lot.
guys.
Yeah.
Amy, thank you so much. She said supporting you, Mike, from Australia. Thank you so much. I really appreciate everyone who's been noting they've been donating tonight to the Defense Fund. I really thank you so much. TG says, what do you think the odds of a mistrial given jury selection process and local control dynamics? I say 100%, sadly. What do you think, Nan? I got my number. What do you think the
I don't think
percentages are?
I don't think there's going to be a mistrial. No
Mm.
way. No way. I won't I know I've heard people say that. I think there's going to be an acquittal. And I think the mistrial in 1.0 was misapplied. Not only because I think that the charge given to the jury was not effectively given, and the jury instruction or the jury charge form was flawed, but I don't feel that should have ended in a mistrial. I think there was a misunderstanding of the applicable law by the jury, which should have resulted in an acquittal, because they all couldn't get to the point of beyond a reasonable doubt, and therefore there should have been conviction. So I tend to approach these things from my gut instincts, and I think there is going to be an acquittal here. But I have heard many
Wow.
people say I think mistrial is a real
Yeah,
possibility. If I'm
I
wrong,
do too.
I'll eat some crow.
Yeah.
Ev-
For me, yeah, for me, I would put it if I had to pick the odds right now, I'd say
yeah.
50% not guilty, 49% mistrial, 1% guilty. Like
Ooh.
that's the odds. That's what I would say as a betting person. Because
Okay.
I just feel like that person said, this song, like I have become so cynical. I've become
Yeah.
so cynical about the jury and the selection and how stupid the jury can be. But I don't know. I'm not in the court. I don't
Yeah.
have the legal experience that Nan does. And I think we're all just guessing. Like I think in the end we
We
really
are.
don't know. But I think that we know like the most likely two are either mistrial or not guilty. I don't think anyone's saying I'm betting the house is going to be guilty this time, unless you're crazy. Unless you're a Kevin Yellow Cottage Tail, you're not saying that.
Oh, did you hear Plevin did an interview with some Canadian outfit? Like,
I
he's like,
heard.
"Oh, click here. I was interviewed by some Canadian French program." And I was like, "Oh, congratulations to you."
I
But
know. I mean, I congratulate Kevin because I don't think he's doing too well, honestly. Like, if I look at him, it seems like he's maybe not really not doing well health wise. Some of the pictures I've seen of him
oh,
lately and some of
really?
the appearances, yeah. But I don't know, like, but at the same time, he's done some terrible stuff, So
Yeah, I mean, I would never want to wish ill
no,
will
I
or
definitely
to,
don't wish it on Kevin.
but
I feel bad for the guy, but at the same time, he's done some horrible shit. He's just
yeah,
like, it's like Kev. I wish you were doing good shit that we could be proud of you for, instead of I don't know.
it's
It's
not
it's
too
just
late,
sad.
Kevin. Not too
Yeah, it's not
late.
too. Yeah, he's always been trying to like move us and try to get us over to his side. Kevin, it's not too late. Think about that. Think about what you've told us over and over again. I'll say it to Kevin. Like
Well,
he's,
I know.
I know a lot of people don't want him on our side. I get that, believe me.
Yeah, no.
But out of all of them, like like Grant and KP and some of these other ones, I don't want to be anywhere near them.
No
And I'm not
way.
saying I want to be friends with Kevin. I don't want to be friends with Kevin, but I don't find him as disgusting as the others. I don't know why. I just don't. Maybe I feel
Look
bad for
at
him. I
you.
don't know.
Look at you, Mike. You're feeling all the feels tonight for
I also don't
Plevin.
feel like he's like legitimately like an evil person. You know what I mean? Like some of these other people, I really feel like they'll do anything. Like I
I
think Kevin
can't.
has like I don't know. Maybe
He's
I'm wrong.
Kevin. Plevin is a shithead. I don't feel the
Yeah, he's
same
a
way that you
shithead.
do.
That's what I feel like he's a shithead. He's just an idiot. Like it's just like, come on, Kevin.
Yeah, well, like someone just wrote here, Kevin is what the French call les incompetents, and I agree
Yeah,
with that.
I
But you
think
know
that's
what?
it. And I've
I
had a lot of fun with Kevin. I think maybe because I've enjoyed some of the shit I've given him more than the others. Like the other two, I don't really enjoy it. Like they're just nasty. Kevin, I have fun with. He gave me the name Young Jelly. I mean that. I'm thankful
gotta
for
stick.
Kevin, I guess. Grant never did anything for me. Kevin gave me a nickname. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess you can thank him for that.
Thank him for something.
I love it.
Young Jelly. I mean that is. We call the grandchild Baby Jelly now.
I know, baby jelly. I think that's
Baby.
awesome.
Yeah. Thank you,
Uh,
Kevin.
yeah.
Uh,
Oh,
I
that was
Larry Legend. I think we posted that one up earlier. Thank you. I'm just making sure I get everyone up. Black Kia guy said props to you, Mike. Love the channel. Wow, thank you so much for the 49.99. Romy said hi, peeps. Wonder if I'm missing any
yeah. Hey,
questions.
Romy.
Yeah, hi, Romy.
She's a sweetheart.
Here's a question for you too. I think Judge Chestnut trial told wife of a deceased she couldn't cry. But John O'Keefe's mom cries, rolls eyes, and shakes her head no while defense talks in full view of the jury. This is the same judge too as the Chestnut trial. So this is Beverly Cannone. She
Yeah.
yelled during the Chestnut trial, but not in this trial.
Well, see, that's kind of what I agree, Sue E. Generous. That I want to point out to you all there is definitely an inconsistency going on. There's just whether during the Chestnut trial, the judge said one thing, or during the pretrial hearings, the law enforcement presence in the courtroom was one way and now they're another way. You These types of rules and these types of application of what you're going to allow in your courtroom in terms of composure and behavior, they need to be consistent. Uh, you know, I'm sure Betterow would agree. When you're going into a certain judge's courtroom, this is what I can expect. Like I know when I go into some judges' courtrooms, like I got to wear a pantsuit because every time I wear a skirt, the judge says certain things. Let's just leave it at that. Or, if I go into some judges' courtrooms, I know that some judges are jerks. Like I don't want to deal with it, but I know what I'm getting into. Then I know some judges, they don't allow this or that, or this judge lets me use a cell phone. That judge will let me chew gum if I'm on a break, but no one can predict what not doctor, what Judge Cannone is going to allow. And it's just the lack of consistency is really frustrating as far as I'm concerned.
So
Oh, thank you, Felicia. I got to keep the glasses on. I'm going to.
yes. Let me read you this one. Deborah says, "How do you feel about Bev receiving the award from Norfolk Bar Association?"
Well, I think that the Norfolk County Bar Association is stupid. I think she's an embarrassment and a corrupt judge who has not only bias problems, but she's so far afoul of staying on top of proper judicial rulings that I think the Norfolk County Bar Association needs to get its priorities set straight. And if that's who they want to consider a person of the year, okay, remind me when I get licensed up there not to step foot back in Norfolk County in terms of going into courtrooms there, unless it's Judge Sisitsky, who's really cute. He is really cute. I might go into that courtroom.
Interesting too, to that Norfolk bar. It's like, what are you doing? You're supposed to be representing the attorneys, and you're giving
Uh,
this judge an award. It's really embarrassing.
Yeah, award for what?
I know.
I don't
Judge
get
of the
it.
year. Yeah. What's up with that? That's
Judge
just.
of the no, no, disagree.
We have Karen Reeds to free, formerly Rebecca, says, "Your law enforcement officer fangirl from Nova Scotia.
Oh,
Wish I was closer to join boots on the ground. Karen needs the energy from her crowds of supporters being there when she comes and goes from Bev's farce of a court." Thank you so much for the donation tonight.
thank you so much. I appreciate that. And by the way, if people are a lot of people say, I wish I could go or I live too far. I always tell people when I say keep showing up, I mean, talk about this
Online.
case,
Yeah.
be on
Wherever you
social
are.
media, chat with people, sorry, I'm glitching, follow the content creators. Showing up doesn't necessarily mean being in person. And
Right. And
also, if you're creative, maybe consider making things. Like a lot of people send me, and I'm not talking about sending them to me. A lot of people send me bracelets, shirts, hats, blankets,
comic
necklaces,
books. Yeah, art. They
comic
they
books,
make
art.
characters. Yeah, so much. And
Yeah.
the thing too, like showing up. I know that Karen does get some support from the boots on the ground when she's there, and definitely lifts her spirit. But she also sees all the people online. She watches the shows. She's in the chat. Her
Yeah.
family's in the chat. Like I know that her mom watches all these shows. Like her mom,
Yeah.
anytime I'm in a room with her mom, my mom's like, I know she watches like they all
They
do. So
watch.
you know, they're probably at least one of them is probably watching right now. So you're all part of it. That's the amazing thing. No matter where you live, you're part of this.
Yeah, they greatly I know they greatly appreciate this, and I know that they watch. Um, and one day maybe I'll tell some stories about what I know about and how I know that they watch and how they let me know that they're watching. So they're very, very funny, a very funny, earthy
You
family.
know what's the funniest thing is I'll tell you one. I'll tell you one little quick one. I don't know if I've told this one before. But it's funny too because I've heard this from I think Bettero's mom too, actually. But I'm pretty sure it was Karen's mom was the one that like loved when Mazza was on the show and he didn't have the camera, and it would just like when he would speak, it would move. She thought it was
Yeah.
so cute. They were all into Mazza, like they wanted to see who Mazza was, and when Mazza finally came out, I think they were very excited. So
I was too. I
yeah,
was too. Like I was like,
everyone
wow.
was. I was like
Yeah.
it looks like a storyline. Like it's funny when Mazda finally came out. I don't know. Some of you new folks might not remember, but the people have been around for a little while.
Yeah,
There
it
was a
used to
long
just be
time when
his
Mazda was on
logo.
the show. He never showed his face. He was just a voice with just the Mazda Media little logo, and it would do that when he spoke on the screen. And
He's in your chat. I see him there.
yeah,
Mazza. I
yeah,
used
yeah.
to love I used to love just listening to you and I always would say, "Come on, let's see it." And then you revealed yourself and I was like, "Oh my goodness, the
I
ladies are
was warning him against them. I was the one saying maybe not. The trolls, because I mean, I know how it is. I know how.
yeah, it sucks, but
I
he
know yeah.
he could squash the
I
trolls.
know that's the thing. But there's other things they get yeah. It's not about
They
the
do.
physical. It's about them harassing or whatever. We'll talk about. I don't want to talk about that shit anymore.
Yeah.
Kelly Kell says, "Hi Mike and Nan. I love your legal commentary.
Thank
Off
you.
topic, sorry. I'm a law student and starting as a summer associate at a big firm. Do you have any advice? I'm packing right now and nervous. What I don't have any advice because I've never been to law school except I'd just say
Yes.
enjoy it. What would you say? You've been to law school. What would you
I
say to Kelly Kell? What's your advice to her?
Thank you. Yeah, Kelly Kell, thank you. I was in your shoes. I finished law school and started as a summer associate at a big firm. Now it sounds like you're still a law student, meaning you're still in law school and not done yet. Because if you weren't, you'd be taking the bar exam this weekend, this summer, excuse me. So here's the advice I will give you. You probably won't end up working at that firm beyond this summer or next summer, etc. So just breathe, take it easy. Don't There's not a lot of pressure on you. You never have a second chance to make a first impression. So wow them with your intellect, your desire to work hard, maybe come in a little early, leave a little late, but soak up the experience. I learned more during my internships, which were not just during the summers. I would intern during the law school curriculum year as well. I learned more during my internships than I did in law school about how to be a lawyer. So watch the lawyers. I'm assuming you're female. And if you are, watch the female lawyers because they're the best of the bunch. If you need any specific advice, you can feel free to reach out to me. I'm very reachable on social media. But good luck to you.
Congrats. That's awesome that you're going to be a lawyer, Kelly Kell.
Yeah.
I'm envious, I gotta say. If I was younger, starting out again, I would probably go to be a lawyer instead of what I did was to be a school teacher, which never really panned out.
Yeah, but you know
I
what
was
though?
more of a wrestling coach than ever a school teacher, to be honest with you. But go ahead, Nan.
No, I was just gonna say, like, it's very scary starting out as a lawyer, and you'll find this Kelly Kell's gonna find her way. Like, I didn't realize I wanted to be a healthcare lawyer until a few years into practice. I started doing med mal defense, representing doctors. Then I was like, ooh, I started doing criminal work. Then I started doing all different civil lawsuit, civil law, administrative law. And I was trying to help doctors. And I'm like, I'm going to be a healthcare lawyer. So like you'll go through and she'll go through different metamorphosis, if that's the plural. Somebody tell me what the plural of metamorphosis is during her
Yeah,
career. Metamorphosi, whatever it is, she's gonna be you're gonna be great, Kelly Kell.
it's kind of. I think you said it best. You just try things out, and then you figure
Yeah.
out what's best for you. You figure out what speaks to you, right?
Yeah, what speaks to you? I've recently found out many things speak to me. You never it consistently follows you through life. Everyone's constantly evolving. I always believe that.
Marla Marla Hooch says Nan's thoughts on an unpopular opinion is the new McCarthyism, creating an unintended byproduct of aided security for the Reed family and the defense team.
I don't
I'm not sure what she
I
means by
I
that. What do you think?
apologize, Marla. I don't even know what neo-McCarthyism
Yeah.
is.
Well,
Um,
McCarthy, yeah, I think like McCarthyism was when the guy was saying everyone was communist, was everyone was red, even though they weren't,
okay, so it
back in
was
the 50s.
I love how you said I gotta
McCarthyism.
I'm getting there.
So
The
it's
neo
basically,
McCarthy.
they saw, anytime if someone was like a labor activist, they would be like, "You're a communist."
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if I have any opinions on this, Marla Hooch, but I feel like the adding security for the Reed family and the defense team. Maybe I just don't fully understand your question, but
I'm not
reach
sure I
out
do
to
either.
me. We can talk about it.
Well, we've had a lot of good comments. I hope I've posted most of them up. There are a lot of them coming through. Kelly Kell, I think we did get this one out. Yes, we
Yeah.
did.
I saw
Thank you.
someone posted some I always like I feel like I need to mention this. I know some people asked for my lipstick. You just message me.
Yeah, what kind of lipstick are you wearing? I'm
Oh,
interested in
please,
this now.
Mike. It's first of all, I don't take the
Maybe I
time to
want to get it
tell
for my
you.
girlfriend. Maybe I want to put. Yeah, I like it. It looks
I'll send you
nice.
a message. It's like 5 different things. That's why I
Wow.
won't go it's literally 5 different steps. But I see the messages come through. Just drop me a message on X. I'll send it to you, Mike, for your girlfriend. But, lips are everything.
Lips are everything. It's
Yep.
funny. Every time I think I have you on, I think the first thing I think of is now. You know what I think of?
Lips?
No, besides lips.
What?
90210, Jenny Goth.
Oh, yeah, Jenny
When that
Goss.
came up, I'm like, I always think, oh, I got Jenny Goth on the show too. She was always my favorite on that show. I was a
I
big
loved
fan of
her.
that show. I
Kelly
did too.
Taylor.
Yeah, I liked her the
Yeah.
best.
I get that a lot.
She ended up with Dylan. She got Dylan. She won that one.
I was happy
Kelly and
about that. Yeah. At the very end, she ended up back with Dylan. He treated her like crap for a few
I know,
years.
what an idiot.
You
Come
know,
on.
come on, guys. Like she
Come
was
on,
she was
Dylan.
a
Get it
smoke.
together. Yeah,
Yeah,
she was.
I love her. And by the way,
I think she should have gone with Brandon. Brandon treated her better. He liked her.
no, he cheated on
No?
her, Mike. He
Oh, he
cheated.
did cheat on her.
He
See, I
did.
always think Brandon was a nice guy, but then he turned out not to be, apparently.
Yeah, you and we could talk
Missed that
90210
one.
for a
He got drunk and got in a car accident too. I don't know if you remember that.
yeah. In what was his name? Mondale in his car. You remember his old car, Mondale?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a big 90210.
Me too. I was more of a Steve Sanders guy, and
Steve.
that's not good for me. I should be like Steve because he was kind of like he wasn't a bad guy, but he wasn't like the best guy on the show, right?
Someone
Right? He's
just
kind
wrote
of a bro, kind of a frat bro, right?
someone just wrote your defense fund is over $6,000 now. Did you know that?
Yeah, I think let's check it out. It
Wow.
was like at 5,000 something. It went up a lot.
Someone
Oh
else
my
just
God, 6,300. Wow, it's amazing. Thank you so much, people.
Yeah, this is awesome. And someone just asked if I'm growing my bangs out. Yes, I am. Yeah, that because when you say Jenny Garth, because when I first met you, Mike, I was like all banged up and not in a Massachusetts way. But as far as my hair is all real, despite what the trolls say. It's not a wig, and I'm growing it back out. But
I
yes.
love that. Not banged up in a Massachusetts.
Oh yeah, I've learned some terms.
You learned some terms.
You guys will say like, "Oh man, she looks banged up." I like that.
She's all banged up. She's all banged up. Bill T says, "Can the defense use chalks during closing?" I have a list of things that don't make sense, etc.
Can the defense use trucks during closing? I.e., have a list of things that don't make sense, not without the court's permission. So they'd have to ask the judge beforehand if they can use certain chalks. But they should. I mean, we don't call them chalks for my planet. We call them demonstratives, but that's everything. There should be clear way to show a jury like comparisons or differences or that chalk that was used with Christina Hanley. Absolutely.
This one, Amy says, "My son's name is Dylan because of 90210."
Yeah.
Dylan McKay. That was
Loved Dylan McKay. Luke
I'm sad
Perry.
Luke Perry died. He's a good guy. I like Luke
Me
Perry.
too. Me
Yeah.
too. May he rest
It's
in peace. And Shannon
exactly.
Doherty also
Oh,
passed
Shannon
away.
too. Yeah, and she had more of a trouble. I'd say like a little more difficulty in life, but
Yeah,
she seemed nice too in the end. I think she got it together at the end, and then she friggin' died. It's like, oh,
yeah,
it
it's
sucks.
sad.
Too young. Both of them way too young.
But Jenny Garth, who you people think I look like her, she's doing great. I mean,
Yeah, she is.
she's I follow her on social media. She's
You can tell
very
she's doing good. She's
yeah.
nice too. You can tell she's a nice. I think she wasn't really acting much because she always seemed like she was playing the part of who she was.
Yeah.
She's just a nice girl, nice lady. I say
Yeah.
girl because they were kind of playing high school kids, even though they were young women at the time. But
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Like Gabrielle Carteris, the girl who
yeah, she was
played
like 30 something. Yeah,
she's in her 60s,
yeah,
I
I
think.
know.
And
Yeah,
so
she
is
was.
Ian Ziering,
Yeah,
Steve Sanders. He just
yeah,
turned 60.
yeah. He's getting old. I liked her the character she played because I could relate being I was the newspaper editor in college. You know what I mean? Like I could
Hot.
relate to that.
I
As,
love that, Mike. Wow, I did not know that about
with
you.
sports, I was a sports editor. I was once I got hurt in wrestling, I couldn't wrestle anymore. My parents were like, "You have a surgery every season. We can't afford it anymore."
Oh yeah.
So I'm like, "Oh, I'll just write about. I'll cover the wrestling team for the sports paper for the newspaper."
That's
That's
awesome.
how I started writing. Uh, here's another question for Kelly. Nan, which side, if any, do you think the jury is more in tune with overall? Love you both. Thanks for all you do. Do you
Jury
think they
is
have picked a side that they're more?
Yeah, they're more in tune with the defense. But again, my insight is from a really boring day in court. So I think that says more. The This is a jury who listened to boring testimony from a neurosurgeon and some lab tech who compares pieces of glass for a living. And they definitely seemed more interested in what the defense had to say. Yeah, I feel good about that.
Like Finch says, aperture. How do you say that? Say that again, because you said it
Ap
right. I always screw it.
Aperture.
Aperture.
Aperture,
I always have a
which
hard time with
I put the
aperture.
definition of aperture, which I knew that word as others did too, and I put the definition of that on Twitter today, and I thought it was very fitting because it basically means like a hole or gap, and I thought that was extremely ironic because that's basically what aperture has put together here. It's just a bunch of holes and gaps in the test in the science to and like someone responded to my tweet with like a huge black hole with someone
Yeah.
like jumping into it. So
I
I
think of a hole or gap in your resume.
yeah. Oh
That's what I think of.
yeah, like
Oh.
Oh, I'm glad. I'm
It only
listening
took
to
him. It only took him 18 years to think about getting a BS that he never got. What do we? What's this one? What must we can for the good of
you.
all of us, except the ones who are dead. But there's no sense to crying over every mistake. You just keep on trying till you run out of cake. Thank you so much,
Wow,
Abacus Finch.
that is. Thank you, Abacus Flinch. I appreciate that. I don't think there's a question buried in there, but if
Yeah,
I'm missing it,
no,
let me know.
just
That's great.
just a little ditty about aperture.
Yeah, by the way, though, everyone, just so you understand from a forecasting standpoint, this wasn't just this wasn't just Shannon Burgess shitting the bed the other day. Shannon Burgess is employed by or an independent contractor of Aperture. Aperture has a close causal connection, a close tie with Burgess and with Judd Welcher. So Judd Welcher, from what I heard, is the executive VP. I'm not sure. What I'm saying is you can't just cut away Burgess and say, well, he got his credentials wrong, but we're Aperture and we're Judd Welcher and we're legit. Like it's all incestuous. So because Burgess lied about his credentials and committed and still commits academic dishonesty and mendacity, or all of the cities that he's committed, when we talk about um what is going to come forth with Judd Welcher, like he's going to get shredded no matter what his opinions are. The fact that Judd Welcher was in touch with Burgess about the report that Burgess put together allegedly of his own volition without being asked or told to do so by Brennan, leading up to its disclosure on or about May 8th. So, by the way, no expert does that. And I think,
Yeah,
your
you don't
audience,
believe that, right? Do you believe that
no,
he just did? Yeah, nobody
no
does.
way. He was
Let me
paid.
ask you another question
Yeah.
because Betterow brought this up. That Spanky Brennan never brought up Burge's academic credentials
Yeah.
when he was indicates that Brennan knew there was a problem before putting him on the stand.
Yeah, I know. Brennan, first of all, you always bring up their academic credentials. So he knew. Now, there was something, I was saying this last week. It was on Twitter. Last weekend there was buzz about
There
problems.
was
There was
before he got on
buzz.
the stand. Yep.
Right. So I'm sure Brennan knew, but every attorney bringing on an expert of their own expert will always vet their credentials. In fact, it's a requirement. You have to go through their background before they start testifying. In I'm sorry, my dog just flipped out.
No
Um,
worries.
but as far as you go through their credentials before you get into the substance of their opinions. So Brennan intentionally overstepped, I mean, stepped over his academic uh, credentials, just his entire academic experience, and went into all of the other nuts and bolts of his training and qualifications. So he did that knowingly. But not only do I know that he knew this was coming and intentionally kind of hid it from the jury. It's almost like the inverted video, as far as I'm concerned. But you can listen back, anyone who wants to hear it, his objections or his lack of objections during the cross examination, they were flat. Alessi would say, well, permission to publish this, Your Honor. And she would say, Mr. Brennan. And he would say, no objection. I mean, the guy sounded like he got punched,
He was different.
where. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a complete embarrassment. It would have been an embarrassment for any prosecutor in Brennan's position to have to sit there. I mean, 5 feet away from your expert who's getting completely eviscerated on the stand.
You could have
Um,
prevented it. You could have
yeah.
not. You could have stopped it by not having him on there, or even addressed it early on. I mean,
Yep.
Julie has a great comment here. She says Annie Elise said the jurors appeared to get it bored when Alessi stayed on the fibs Burgess told. Like Alessi stayed on the subject too long. What are your thoughts?
I wasn't in court with her on Tuesday when it happened, so I didn't see them Tuesday. But I will tell you, he was while Alessi was on the fibs for a long time, they were all very different fibs. So these were done for a specific reason. So for any lay person who thinks, okay, we get it, he lied on his resume or he held himself out one way, let me dispel that myth. All of the different questions Alessi was asking him were necessary components to show a knowing misrepresentation. It wasn't just, okay, yeah, he said he had a degree and he didn't have it. He went into the minutia of look at this CV, look at that CV, look at this professional social media, look at this link to that professional social media. Look, this is the incorrect degree. This degree doesn't exist. So everything he did, I can only tell you, has a specific purpose later. There's some forecasting. So I don't care. That jury could have been as bored as, my kids are when they're going to school in the morning. And it was done in a very genius way for a very specific reason. So stay tuned.
This world says that the lyrics are from the Portal video game. Portal features a giant evil company called Aperture.
Yeah.
Aperture Science. The end is song is called Still Alive. So that's interesting. That's what was posted earlier. This is another one about not everyone loves 90210, apparently.
Love her.
Susie CJ says Tiffany Amber Thiessen is
Hot.
beautiful. Dylan's black Porsche was everything. I watch every episode of 90210 and Saved by the Bell.
Oh, yeah.
Love Nan. I
Kelly
did watch too much
Kardashian.
Saved by the Bell, but that was not as good as 90210. 90210 was like the real show. Saved by the
Tiffany,
Bell was kind of a joke. Tiffany Amber Thiessen,
she's hot.
phenomenal. When she was on the show, they made her bad at first. She was like the evil pot smoking girl. Crazy. Remember that?
She
But
stayed
I
bad the
liked her.
whole time.
Yeah,
Kind of,
she was bad. I thought
but you
she
know what?
stayed. Yeah, but I love her.
Hot.
I always liked her. She was hot. Yeah, she was hot. She's a hot thing. She still is.
Oh, yeah. And she's like a year older than me. I find her, and by the way, trolls, she's not elderly either.
Oh,
I think she is hot, as you guys
me
would
too.
say.
Me too. The Gen X ladies are still. Yeah,
But
they're still got it.
The black Porsche,
Yeah, that was a
yeah,
nice car. That was a
I
nice car.
I may or may not have something very similar.
Oh, yeah. We seen you in your little roadster. You're got your
Yeah,
scally cap on.
yeah, I know how to rock
Convertible,
it. Yeah. I have a few vehicles.
a few
Yeah, I'm a car
vehicles. You're
aficionado.
a big car nut. Yeah, I love it. This is a good question. This may be the last super chat. I
Yeah.
hope people don't get mad if we don't read every super chat tonight. I've been trying. Kelly said, just saw Bev imposing strict 1 hour closing. Can they interlocutory appeal this?
No.
Kim Jong Canone.
Kim Jong
What's up with
Connolly.
that? Do you ever see that? They say you only get a 1 hour closing. Does that
Nope.
happen in other courts?
Nope.
Why is she doing that? Why does she do this?
I think she's fed up with the case. So first to answer Kelly's question, no, they can't interlocutory appeal it. No, I've never seen this other than in the netherworld of Norfolk County Superior Court. But why is she doing it? Because I think she is so fed up with this case, she wants it over with. I have heard Bettero talk about this previously, and I feel the same way, which is this is a case that takes more than an hour to sum up. Think about anyone you've met in your life where you're talking to them about this case. Like, if someone says, "Oh, what's going on? What's the Karen Reed case?" I'm like, "Do you have 5 hours to talk about it?" Because there's so many different rabbit holes. Now, while I don't recommend really long closings, you lose some strategy and you lose some substantive pull if you're limited to 1 hour. You also can compromise and jeopardize your normal cadence if you're trying to rush too much. So even an hour and a half, just 90 minutes would make a big difference. If she feels like there needs to be a specific time limit, I think 90 minutes would be a more effective time limit if she's got to be that way. But no, it's not ripe for an appeal. It's not worthy of an appeal. And they're going to nail it. The defense team will nail it. And honestly, I think Hank Brennan has shown such a shitty and superficial understanding of this case, as evidenced by how he has put in his case in chief. He could probably state the entire closing argument in about 4 minutes. So I'm not worried about him, but the defense is going to have to economize.
I think 90 minutes. I think I agree with you on that.
Just takes
An
the edge
hour
off.
seems too short. 90 seems more reasonable.
Yeah. They can ask her, just so Kelly, you understand. Like, they could say,
True.
"We
We have
understand what
30
you
minutes
said.
more.
30 minutes more, please." But you know what? Just a quick point. I don't think they should shut down any attorney. Like, she literally made Lally, like, sit down. She's like, "Nope, you're done." And, he put his tail between his legs and ate his cheese sandwich and went back to making the donuts. But that they shouldn't do that. I mean, even in moot court in law school, and I'm a moot court judge now. Like, what we do is, we put your hand up. We tell you, if we're the judges, you've got no minutes left. So you just wind up your last sentence and sit the fuck down. So who knows? Those
See,
are my thoughts.
what are your final thoughts tonight? Like, what's upcoming? Do you think in court? Do you think the
Yeah.
prosecution is really done here, or are they going to bring up more witnesses? And what do you think it's going? And what are your final thoughts? I
I
guess.
Thanks. I think you'll hear from Judd Welcher. He's going to have a tough time. I haven't seen his 100 and something page PowerPoint slideshow or deck or whatever it is, but that typically won't come into evidence. It would be his testimony that does. And Alessi is going to eat him for lunch, because Alessi is going to draw distinctions that are notable. He's going to also basically let Judd Welcher understand that his science that he's putting together and relying upon is flawed because of the flawed findings of the underqualified and uneducated and outright liar, Shannon Burgess. I don't know what Crosby is going to have to, going to say when he allegedly testifies, but I don't feel that Crosby is qualified to opine on dog bites and the indicia of them. I mean, he's, from what I understand, a veterinary expert. Marie Russell, Dr. Marie Russell, would be the type of person with her all of her uniquely qualified experience to offer those opinions. So we'll see what he has to say. I can't think of anyone else, possibly Flamati, who might testify. This is such a disjointed case in chief. But ultimately, keep an eye on it. Keep an eye on everything, and know that I'm battling the streets of Twitter to give you my commentary. And I'm always grateful to people like you, Mike, who asked me to pop on, because I think it's abundantly clear I like to talk.
Thank you for coming. I got another question that came through that I thought was pretty good. They said, Dan, what about Hank putting in the entirety of defense experts' report?
Yeah, so I saw that. I don't know which report it was, Hedgehog in space, but I saw that there was the entry of one of the experts' reports, might have been Burgess's, into evidence. Expert reports normally do not come into evidence. It's the testimony of the expert that does. Now, the judge asked any objections, and the defense said no, which leads me to believe that the defense wants that expert report in and is like, great, we'll let it in. I don't really know why Brennan did that, other than there's probably something in it that the defense wants to capitalize on. But normally you wouldn't have the report come into evidence.
Saying it was, let's hear on that. They're
What do you
scrolling
got?
by quick.
Oh,
They said it was
Disorga?
Georgia's. It was a tech expert.
Oh,
Yeah.
Disorga. Okay. Oh, hi
So
Barry. How are you? Um, yeah, so Disorga is the defense expert. Yes. It's been a long day for me. It's been a
I
long
know.
week.
It's a lot
This
to keep track of too. I don't even know what they're talking about here. So
Yeah, I mean, either way, if the barometer that should be applied is, if the defense doesn't object, they strategically want it in for a reason. and let the jury see it. Like, I don't know why Brennan did it, but I stand and I still subscribe to my theory, which has been consistent since I started talking publicly about this case, and I will battle anyone who disagrees with me.
That he's a
And I
moron.
think Betterow does too. Brennan is an idiot. Betterow thinks he's smart. I don't think he's smart. I don't even think he's a good attorney. I know I disagree with Betterow on this, but I think Brennan made a calculated error. And I'm happy to see that expert report come into evidence. Let the jury see it. If they read it and DeSorga's report is as good as I would think it is, it's all the more reason there's going to be an acquittal.
It's funny because I guess Betterow has been using the word slime ball to
Ooh, I
describe
haven't
him now.
usually.
So
Yeah, that's
Betterow's
good.
come around. At first he was pretty like like all of us, like you give the guy the benefit of the doubt, but after a while,
I heard him talking to, I think it was Runkle, might have been Peter Tragos, but Betterow was saying, and I'm paraphrasing, but that he was saying that he's a smart, Brennan is a smart attorney. He's a good attorney. I I think he's an idiot. I don't think Betterow's an idiot. I think Brennan is an idiot, and anyone is going to have a hard time convincing me otherwise.
I think he may have a point.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's made a lot of dumb moves. I mean, just over and over again. The way that even the way he's brought up witnesses and
This is
yeah,
the way I will leave you with this thought. The way Brennan has put this case into before the jury. The way he put this case in is what we say. It's like 52 pickup. Like you just throw all the cards on the floor and try to make it all fit together. This is a complete mess. And if it's a mess to people like us who have biases, and maybe there's people who have open minds and are unbiased on this in your chat or watching on replay, but if it's confusing to us and we know this case, can you imagine what the jury is thinking? Like
exactly.
they're
And
probably
they're
like,
probably saying,
"What?"
"Where's the evidence? Where's the evidence?"
Right.
Yeah,
So,
he's gonna eventually show us some evidence, right? I mean, that's what I'd be probably thinking.
if I were Jackson, whom I believe will give the closing, maybe it's Unetti. I don't know. I don't think it's going to be
Alessi.
Alessi. But if I were Jackson giving the closing, I would be saying some things like this. I would be saying, "Did you notice you never heard from Proctor from the prosecution? Did you notice that prosecution never went over with Burgess the fact that he had some educational misrepresentations until we brought it out? Did you notice this or that didn't happen? Did you notice you had no fucking idea until we started talking about the defense case in chief how this accident really took place?" Like, it's I would point those things out along the lines of also pointing out the clear indicia of reasonable doubt. And, doing it in 1 hour, it's going to be tough, but
It
they'll
is.
do it because I have the faith and you guys should too.
Someone just said academic dishonesty. That was an
Yeah.
Alessi line.
I love it.
Uh, yeah,
Dishonesty.
yeah,
Dishonesty. I'm
dishonesty.
getting my accent. I'm going to master it before I move up there part of the time.
Phoebe says, I love this one. Quotes, "Where's the beef?" from a famous
Yeah.
commercial. I got another one that I want to quote from way
Wendy's.
back in the day. "I've fallen and I can't get up."
Oh yeah. That's
That's what it
true.
feels like. That's what this entire case feels like. If Hank Brennan is sitting there saying, "I've fallen and I've fallen and I can't get up."
I agree. I mean, they don't make commercials like this anymore. They don't. And I want to say, oh, interestingly, if I can just mention Brian LTL's
Oh
program for
yes.
a moment. Normally I wouldn't do that, but on Monday I will be on with LTL Media and Todd McGee. And I was talking to Brian earlier today when I was at my son's baseball game, and we're going to be doing a show on Lally Lally's performance versus Brennan's performance and
Be
kind of
good.
compare them. So it's going to be exciting because many people think Lally was awful.
Maybe he did better.
You want to talk about what does it take to have made Lally look good?
Seriously,
If
I
you're
think
making Lally look good, then you're
there's
really,
an argument for that now. There
yeah,
is definitely an argument that Lally was better than Brennan at this point, which is shocking. You would never think that, but it's true. I think
yeah.
Lally didn't do that bad of a job. So that's Monday. Do you know what time that is? Because
That's
I
eight
want to
o'clock.
watch it.
That's 8 o'clock.
8 o'clock, 8 p.m. Cool. I
Yeah,
love LTL. I'm glad you promoted that. I like Todd too. Those are my guys. So Monday
they're
night,
great.
8 p.m. You're going to be on LTL with Todd McGee and
Yeah,
my man LTL Brian from LTL Media. So I hope people check that out on Monday night.
yeah.
I want to thank you so much for being here again tonight. You're the best.
Thanks, Mike.
Make
Always
sure
a
you follow
pleasure.
her on Twitter, LaFario. She's also got a website. You can find her at Nan Gallagher Law.
Yeah.
Uh, Anything else you're promoting? I know you're on Facebook as well. You have a Facebook page.
I have a Facebook page. I should probably put links in your, but whatever. I have a Facebook page. It's called like Lawferio. I don't accept like personal friend requests to my personal Facebook page, but I put a lot of stuff on Lawferio on Facebook. I have an Instagram page called Lawfurio. But if you want like the most real time snark, it's follow me on X. And I've even told people, Mike, even if you're opposed to Twitter or X, you might want to consider joining if you want to see my takes because that's where I put all of them. So that's like the real time little commentary that I put in a given day. Although brace yourselves, I like to give it to the trolls. So and they
Exactly.
come at me too. But I hope to see you all around the bend and I hope to see you soon, my friend.
Awesome. I hope to see you too. Let me know when you're back in Massachusetts. I've been trying to
Very
slow my
soon.
schedule down. I want to try to get down there. So hopefully we check in and see each other.
Absolutely, Mike, and I'll even drive to you. And
No,
I won't
I
be
won't. I
45
won't
minutes
let you
late.
drive in that traffic. That is too much.
Yeah, I'll let you know. It's gonna be
Yeah.
soon. So I will
Awesome.
definitely let you know. And everyone have a great Memorial Day weekend. It was wonderful to be here.
Thank you so much. You have a great rest of your weekend. Thank you so much,
Thank
Attorney
you.
Nan Gallagher.
Bye, guys. Take care.
You too. Have a great night. Always a pleasure to have her on the show. That was amazing. It goes by so quick with her. It's really good. I want to thank everybody who's been kicking in and showing support to me. Oh my God, 6,421. It's like $1 over my favorite number, the 420. 6421. That's amazing. Peg Carey just made a donation on my GoFundMe. Says, Mike, don't quit. No quit. Thank you so much. Bite My Bits sent $16 on there. Anonymous givers are coming through. It's just unbelievable. I just thank you so much for supporting me. Defending this defamation case, which should never have been filed against me. A few other super chats came in. I'm gonna just acknowledge them. This is one that just came in. Said Lay Baker said, "Did you hear? Did you notice that you only heard the theory of the case after you listened in Bev's?" Let me read this again. I gotta get my glasses. Got my glasses on, but the wrong ones. Let me read this again. Did you notice that you only heard the theory of the case when you listened to Bev's reading during jury selection? Right? I mean, isn't that the problem with Spanky Brennan here? Good point. I mean, what is the theory right now? When did it happen? They can't even tell you that, right? They've changed their theory over and over again. Thank you to the Goodmans tonight. A lot of you have been buying memberships, and thank you so much for that. Amy, I gotta put this one up. She says, Mike, I live in the Triton School District. I grew up in Haverhill though, and went to the Tech. What do you go? You must have went to Whittier Tech. Yeah, we used to play sports and wrestle against Whittier. Whittier, pretty good kids. And I know a lot of Haverhill Hillies. Yeah, I hung out with a lot of Haverhill Hillies, definitely. We wrestled and played sports against them as well. And yeah, Triton was my old school district, is where I graduated from, and also was the head wrestling coach for a number of years. The Triton Vikings, great school system. Thank you, Amy. Here's another one. I'm gonna put it on the big screen so I can read it. Hard plastic and state mannequin. Adam Handful sent $10 and said, "Did you realize that every time man Shannon is going to testify in court, he changes his education to say he's pursuing to make it seem like he will get his degree?" Thoughts? I mean, it's this is what this is what Aperture allowed to happen. This is what Hank Brennan allowed to happen. I mean, it's a joke. The best thing about this is it showed that a lot of these expert witnesses are bullshit. You know, who's checking if they're really experts, right? Unbelievable. Caroline says, Mike, if Nan said you'll be okay, I trust her take on it. But regardless, I can only imagine it's taking a toll on you. We all will always have your back. I know, right? I mean, the issue is, how do you trust the courts at this point, right? I mean, even if you have this BS defamation case against you, man, I'm very suspicious of the courts in Massachusetts now. You know, so that's why I get nervous about all this. And that's why I'm going to have the best legal representation, and I'm not going to Mickey Mouse the cost. I threw $10,000 down right away. I was like, I need to get the best attorney I can. And I actually turned the first attorney down. I had who I thought were the best attorneys, which they are. Like, I had one of the best law firms I was talking to, but they quoted me even a higher number. And I was like, oh, now I got to shop around a little bit. And I found this other one who was like on the same level, Rob. He is amazing. He's like a top entertainment lawyer, former journalist. He defends free speech all the time. And that's who I hired. I'm not messing around. So I want to thank everyone who's been kicking in on the Give, Send, Go tonight. Let me put that back up on the screen so people could see. We'll see what the new number is. Do we got it up there? What is the new number? It's been going. It's 6421. That's amazing. 6,421. It's been up over, I think, about $1,400 since we went live tonight. That is amazing. I want to thank everybody. It's been, I mean, seriously, you've already covered me for 64% of the money I kicked in myself. That's just in one day. Thank you so much. I can't even, all the people supporting, sending messages, resharing it. Thank you to all the other YouTubers who have reached out as well. I won't forget this. And this is the one time, like, I really am asking for people's support to support us. So thank you. Thank you, everybody who's been offering support on this. I do have to read a couple Venmos too. Some Venmos came in yesterday. Some people felt more comfortable supporting on Venmo, so I'm going to read off their Venmos as well. Kelly sent $10 tonight and said, "Thank you, Mike and Nan," on Venmo. Thank you so much, Kelly. Let me get mine. Why does it show other people's? I hate that. Colleen sent 50. Colleen K sent 50 last night. She said, "For your defense fund, good luck, Colleen K." Thank you so much, Colleen K. And then there was Colleen E. E is in England. Colleen E sent $25. And she says, "For your defense fund, go get them, Mike." I had two Colleens last night, right in a row. Send me donations. I thank you so much for that. And then I also got $25 from Jillian C the other night. She said, "Just because you're awesome, Trial 2, love Trial 2. Thank you so much. Really appreciate that." And earlier in the week, I don't know if I thanked him. Scott M sent $100. He said, for being a stud, Sarah, my wife, and I love you. Keep up the great work. We have all become a tight family. Thank you so much, Scott M, and to your wife, Sarah. Very generous. A hundo. I always like a hundo. That's amazing. Wild. So I want to thank everyone who's been supporting me, sending Venmo, sending super chats, sending cash apps, and especially the folks who've been kicking up on the GoFundMe right now. All right, I think that is it tonight. I think I'm all caught up. Hopefully, I'm caught up. I'm gonna check the chat real quick. Did I miss anyone? Super chat? Is anyone mad at me right now? I hope not. Hi, Brit Happens. I see Brit Happens. Thank you, Glenn Lake, a regular supporter of ours, always in the chat. I really love Glenn Lake. Thank you, Glenn. You are the funny man here. Never be afraid to make fun of me, Glenn. Barry says, we love you, Mike. Thank you, Barry. Just win. That's what I got to do. I got to win. Black Economist says, young Black Economist says, I love everyone. Thank you so much. I am staying strong. And it's easier to stay strong when you know you have people backing you up too. It is, you'd think you didn't need the support. Like I always think like I can handle anything myself. I don't need help. I don't need to ask. But when you see the people come out and support you and you see the donations come in, it does humble you. You're like, oh my God. Like when I gotta say, when I saw Nan Gallagher kicking in, when I saw Microdots last night, some other people I'm not gonna name because they were anonymous, but I saw who they were. When I see some of the people that I've either supported or helped, or maybe I've watched their own YouTube channels like Microdots. I've never helped Microdots. There's no favor I've ever done to Microdots. But he felt like he wanted to contribute and support the First Amendment. That meant a lot to me. To see someone like him, because I know him. I know what he's about. I know how serious he takes this stuff. It means a lot when you get that kind of support. Someone asked about Randazza. No, he's not my attorney. It's funny. He was actually one of the. I was talking to his. Oh man, I'm forgetting his name right now. But he actually reached out. One of Mark Randazza's associates. He reached out. They were actually in the running. I was pretty close to actually picking them, but I picked Rob. I just felt like Rob had a little more, probably court experience, in the district. I just feel like I need someone that the locals in the court really like, and that's why I picked Rob, because I think Rob is someone that has respect of everyone in that courthouse. So, but Randazza, I love what they do, and I support them. I think people should definitely donate to them for what they're doing for Erica and all the other people. I just had talked to Randazza. He sent me a message. I'm going to actually read that. I'm glad you brought Randazza up. I definitely support them, and I appreciate them, because they were offering help and support to me as well, and they helped me. I got to say, they did help me. His attorney, not Mark, but one of his associates, was the first one to actually send me the complaint and help me out on it behind the scenes. So they are great. I just want to read something that Mark actually sent me. I'm gonna include it probably in my next newsletter, my next published post. But I'm just gonna read what he said about Erica's case the other day. And Mark Randazza, attorney, said her case is being taken under advisement, but it's really a weird situation because we've got 3 simultaneous cases going on, and every judge just seems too nervous about making a decision that makes any sense. And I think that's the big problem in the courts. They did this to the Canton Nine. They just pushed them off. All these judges knew. And I think they do this with Aiden a lot, too. They know that there's something wrong. There's that something smelly here. But they don't want to be the ones to stick their necks out and make that ruling. And it just shows you the power that they have here with the system, where they scare people. They scare the judges. They scare the attorneys. They scare the journalists like me standing on the street. There is some type of influence campaign going on here in Norfolk County, and it's really kind of disgusting. And that's why I'm so thankful for all the great attorneys we have. Like Nan Gallagher coming on the show tonight. You heard her. She charges $1,000 an hour. She's coming on these shows for free. She's not making any money on them. This is what she does as a volunteer. She's bringing her legal experience here. I really appreciate lawyers and attorneys like her. Bettero's another one. Rendaza is another one. These folks are really stepping up, and thank God we have them. Thank God we have them. And I got to say, there was so many when, I was kind of reaching around and talking to people when I got, knew that this lawsuit was on the way against me. A lot of great people have supported me through this. And I just want to thank all the attorneys, especially, that offered me, Tim Bradle called me. He offered me some advice, offered me a referral. Thank you so much to Tim Bradle. Thank you to Rendaza and his guy, Woolman. That's his name, Woolman. Woolman spent some time with me as well. I want to thank him. I want to thank another guy I talked to a lot. A couple attorneys, actually. There's been a lot of attorneys who have helped me out on this, honestly. Man, I'm forgetting names. Sam Thomas. Sam Thomas is another local attorney who I was in discussions with, talks. I also want to thank Brian Barea. You know him, he's the estate law guy. He's given me a lot of advice behind the scenes, selecting an attorney, looking for an attorney. So many of these folks have helped me out, reached out. Another guy, obviously, I talked to Bettero a little bit, but his guy, Rich Vestine, another guy who offered some referrals. I really appreciate all of them. It feels really good to have that kind of support. And Tim Bradle as well. All right, I think I'm out of here. I think I've spent enough time tonight. Phew. So I think I'm going to head out. We're going to do a quick show tomorrow night. Tomorrow during the day, actually, 3 p.m. We are going to have a quick show about a guy who spent decades in jail and was recently free because he's innocent in Massachusetts. And a journalist that's been covering it and his big story about it, Andrew Comer. We talked about this a little while back with Andrew. The journalism he was doing about this story and about a fire in Beverly that happened over 30 years ago, and this guy was sitting in jail for it, and it turns out that he's innocent. We're going to have an update with Andrew. He wrote a big story about this for an outlet called The Appeal. Tomorrow at 3 p.m. we'll be going over that. Another local story of a man who's innocent, who had his conviction overturned recently. But he's still fighting for his freedom. So I'll be covering that tomorrow at 3 p.m. I hope you all join us. And hopefully be doing some more shows this week. I'm not sure when. But I'm ready to go now. I'm back. I think I need to take a little break to kind of deal with this stuff. And I think I'm ready to go and ready to do shows again. So hopefully I'll be back most nights. There's probably still going to be some stuff I need to do related to that lawsuit BS, but I think I'm in good shape. I want to thank everybody who's been, again, supporting me throughout this whole ordeal and over the last couple of years as well. All the people who are part of this jerk circle, as Glenn said, let this jerk circle be unbroken. I feel like we're a family, and I really appreciate all of you for supporting and watching and being here. And I love our chats, and I'm looking forward to court on Tuesday morning. So we'll be back in court on Tuesday morning, but hopefully you'll be here tomorrow. Tomorrow at 3 p.m., I'll do a quick little show at 3 p.m. Hope to see you there. Again, I want to thank everyone who's been kicking in to the GoFundMe. It's pinned at the top. If you made a donation and you do want a Young Jelly sticker that I have here, or one of the Young Jerk stickers, I'll send them both to you. Just send me an email. It's scrolling at the bottom, mjcboston1 at yahoo.com. Send me your screen capture of your donation to the GoFundMe and your mailing address, and I'll mail out some stickers to you. If you want a Young Jerk sticker or Young Jelly, even if you've already got them, if maybe you want some new ones, maybe you want one for your friend. It's the Young Jelly and the Young Jerk stickers we have for you. Yeah, we're a bunch of jerks. I'm going to head out now. Thank you so much, everybody. Let's go watch Turtle Boy. I think he's on tonight, hopefully. I missed him the other night. I heard he had a great show the other night. If he's on tonight, I'm going to check him out. All right, I'll go see you all in the chats. Good night, everyone. Thank you so much again. Thank you. You don't even know. I mean, I feel so blessed that I have your support. What is the email? The email's on the screen, scrolling at the bottom of the screen right now. mjcboston1 at yahoo.com. I'll put it in the chat right now if you want to copy and paste. But it's scrolling on the bottom of the screen on the ticker. All right, peace, everyone. Have a great night. Thank you so much. We'll see you soon.